and welcome to episode 174 of Gamers on a Lost Spark podcast, the pre-E3 podcast full of excitement. I'm your host, Antony Justin, and joining me this week, it's the other Spark on a pod, a man who I'm going to be virtually high-fiving and fist-bumping at every single E3 announcement. It's Mr. Stuart Burgess.
Good evening. E3 is around the corner.
Oh my god, E3 is here. We had Stadia just now, so we're podding.
Yes.
We're podding this on a Thursday. Can we call it, Stu? Can we call it that like E3 started now? It's this trickle.
I think we can. I think we've got we've had a number of leaks and we've had the excitement, and I think okay. I don't know what we've got anything tomorrow, but EA starts on Saturday. So
EA Saturday. We just had a Destiny one. I watched a bit of Destiny one while I was just cooking. I was cooking dinner. Nicola ordered a very easy dinner for me to cook for her, so I was just cooking that, watching the Destiny stream, which was very interesting, which we'll get to in a mo. But yeah, it's an interesting one, isn't it? Because you used to have, I remember years ago, I think I was talking to James the other day, you know, you started with Microsoft on the Monday. You know, sometimes Microsoft and Apple would do it together, and it's kind of colliding times or just before each other. But you'd start with Microsoft on a Monday, and then you would literally, Monday would be, you know, Ubisoft, EA, and then Game of Thrones, and then a bit of a snooze, and then Sony would happen, and maybe... And then Bethesda, I think Bethesda came in on the Sunday, and then it all started to change. And now we're all over the place. You know, now I've got, I don't know about you, but I've got entries in my diary just so I know kind of when I've got alerts happening, entries in my diary for like, I've got E3, Xbox, you know, because, the Star Wars EA, that's like, that's Saturday at 5:15, isn't it? So that's when that starts UK time. So I think it's like 2:00 if you're Pacific time. But yeah, it's all over the place, but it's exciting. I quite like this. It gives everybody time to breathe, gives all the announcements, gives you time to have a look about them and see kind of, you know, what's happening. So it's all good fun, but I don't know about you, but I'm relatively excited about this year's E3.
Yeah, I mean, I'm really looking forward to it. I'm personally quite busy at work, so that's taken over my life quite a lot just recently. But yeah, there's something just, you know, I'm looking at the weekend, and I think the girls, I think Molly's got a dancing festival on Saturday, and then they're away at her brother's, I think, on the Sunday. So I'm sort of like, okay, right, now I've got to do a little bit of work in the morning. EA's there. You know, I'll take the burgers out of the freezer and defrost those, you know, and get me Alpine fries ready.
Nice.
And I'm just like, right, so I can do myself my dinner. Then it's like, right, on to Sunday. I've got to go for a run on Sunday. And then, you know, and then it's like, right, Microsoft, and it's just sort of like playing it out, like, you know, like I think you messaged on the WhatsApp group earlier about, you know, okay, so what beers am I going to have, like, to watch Xbox? And it is, I mean, we tried it a few years ago where we did beers and nibbles on mic, which didn't work, and then we all started to do it through an Xbox chat, wasn't it? I think it was.
Yes.
But everybody started, like, all you got was, I'm not there yet, and it's like, oh, they've released. Oh my god, it's a new Odyssey game. It's like, no, I've still got Phil talking, and it was like, we can't do that again.
No, I think it was like, because like all of us, I think me, you, and Manny were potentially on like 4K mixer, like kind of doing 4K, and I think Matt was kind of on 1080p, so that meant that he was kind of, I think he was getting it quicker because he was like, oh my god, and we're like, what is it? So yeah, so I said to Nicola, I said, do you want to watch it? And she said, what time is it? I said 9 until 11, like. And she was like, no, I'll go to bed. I'll watch Killing Eve and I'll leave you to it. I said, fine, but expect me to come bounding upstairs at 11 o'clock and telling you all of the announcements and when Gears of War is coming out. You know, so it was, but yeah, no, I mean, we'll get to a bit of E3 predictions. We had an email this week asking what our predictions were. I think we hadn't kind of got to that point yet. So we hadn't mentioned it actually. So well done for, one of our listeners for kind of sending in an email, giving us a bit of a prompt on kind of a bit of fun on what we want to see and what we would like to see and what we're expecting to see. So it's quite cool. But yeah, I just can't wait. I just love E3. There's something about it. I do still want, I was talking to James, I think last week, I do still want to go. Maybe kind of next year might be a bit of more of an excitement one if we're going to have new consoles, because I'm still reckoning that Sony and Microsoft are not going to announce or show new consoles this year, but we'll get to that again a bit later, jumping ahead. But before we kind of even get into what we've been playing, how you been, Stu? It's been a couple of weeks since you've been on the pod.
Yeah, been sort of like frantically running around with work, trying to finish a very, very nice cinema for a client. So work's been really, really busy. Personally, obviously, I'm very excited. I had a very, very exciting Saturday. Sorry, James. And so I think I stayed up until my Saturday consisted of doing a little bit of work. And then I went to the gym and did a workout. Come back, had some food, spent some time with the family, and then it was like Molly, my daughter, who's 8. We said that she could stay up to watch the Champions League final, just in case you're wondering what I'm talking about. So she got donned in her Liverpool kit, which I bought for her when she was like 6, and she still fits in it.
Right.
So she was like, right, I'm staying awake and I'm going to watch this. So we got nibbles out. We're all sitting on the sofa. TV's on. The Philips Hue around the TV are on, and we're all cheering. And I think she lasted 31 minutes before she fell asleep. Not through boredom, because my daughter, even at the age of 8, goes to bed at 7 o'clock still, because she just after 7 o'clock she's just zonked. So So we tried to wake her up when Liverpool got presented the trophy, but she literally just sat up and then just flopped back over. So she was not interested in waking up. So, but no. So that was an exciting. It was bittersweet. I did not feel sorry for Spurs, but I think they were the better team. But I think that the way sometimes you win a game is by winning it, even when you're a bad team, or not perform when you're performing badly. But so yeah, it was honestly, I would have liked Spurs to win it, even if we didn't, which obviously that would have what happened. But I'm glad we won it. So stayed up, did that. I think that was then about 11:30, 11:30, I think, and then I set my alarm for 3 o'clock in the morning and went to sleep for 3.5 hours, and then woke up at 3 o'clock in the morning to watch the boxing. From the garden. And so watched that, which was good. I quite enjoyed that. Although he lost, but the guy the guy who beat him was such a lovely chap. And although we did have a good, he just was. Although he looked like an overweight fat bloke with a boxer hidden inside, it was just if you get a chance to watch his interviews, he was just such a nice guy. It was like the whole week beforehand, they were saying he was a bit like a tourist. It was like he couldn't believe he was here. He was holding the belts and meeting it. Then he got in the ring and he did the business. Yeah. And then he came out and he was really humble about it. And you're just like, yeah, actually, I know the British guy got beat, but you'd rather him lose to someone who is nice about it, nice and really appreciate it, than someone who just stands there grumpy and goes, yeah, I'm the best in the world and all that stuff. So then
where was he from then? Where was he from?
He's Mexican, but I think he's American Mexican. He lives in California, I think, but he is nationally Mexican. So he was, I think he was humble because I think he is the first ever Mexican heavyweight boxer of the world. So
holy moly.
Yeah, so it was a very good example of not judging a book by its cover. And if you Google him, you'll see what I mean by his cover. But yeah, so that was an interesting weekend, and like you, I got some new tech the other day, which I haven't actually unboxed yet. I got a Rift S the other week when you got your Quest.
Yes,
but it was quite funny. What it actually made me do was I sold my Rift. Because obviously I don't want that anymore, so I sold that all the extra sensors I got. But before I sold it, I put it back on, and I actually found myself. I spent a good 2 or 3 hours in there playing Beat Saber and Creed boxing and things like that. And then just cleaned it down, boxed it up, and then sold it. But I haven't got around to setting up the new one yet. But yeah, it's just listening to the other podcast this morning with you and James last week, and it's just that's on my list. I've got to do that this weekend. Is set up the Rift S, because it's it is. Oh, I just love VR. Absolutely love it.
It's reignited my love for VR because I just like the other morning I went downstairs. So I was in Manchester Tuesday and I was doing something. I was in London yesterday, but on Monday I'd made Nicola lunch. She was still kind of getting in the shower, so I ironed all my clothes, done all of that sort of stuff, and I found myself like 15 minutes to spare. So I was downstairs. So I just quickly pushed the footstool out the way, stuck Oculus Quest on, and then just suddenly started playing Beat Saber. So I had like three or four maybe tunes of Beat Saber. And then that was it. I was done. And then I could hear Nicola was out of because great thing about it, not having the headphones, but having the sound up, it meant I was kind of open to all the sounds that was happening. I could hear Nicola coming out of the bathroom. So I just kind of like took it off, packed it back away, and then that was it, And so I just had, where before, if I wanted to do that with PSVR, the time I had to do that, I would have just got it set up, and then Nicola would have gone, oh, you can have the shower now. And I'm like, damn it, but this, I just popped it on, stuck it on, played 4 games of Beat Saber, beat one of my high scores or one of Nicola's high scores, and then and that was it. And it was just so much fun, and it was really cool. So I just really loved it, and I'm jumping into like Vader Immortal, and I'm just like playing that. But at the moment, whenever I stick the Quest on, I just want to play Beat Saber. I just want to play, and it was quite funny actually because the Apple event was on Monday night, and we'll get to that in a mo. But so Nicola said to me, God, I really fancy playing Beat Saber before dinner. I said, well, I'm watching the Apple event, so why don't you do it? So Nicola kind of like, she was in the movie room, she put Oculus Quest on, so she's jumping up and down in front of the Apple event. It was just a funny thing to see because she kept beating my scores. The most annoying thing at the moment is when you get a high score on campaign or the solo mode in Beat Saber, you get fireworks. So fireworks happen, and all she kept doing was, ooh, fireworks. I'm like, damn it, there's another one of my scores bites the dust, and I was just like, she kept doing, ooh, fireworks. I was like, shut up, will you? But it just really made me chuckle a lot. But it was just, oh God, I love it. I just absolutely love it. I'm taking it to work tomorrow. Unfortunately, my Oculus Quest case was supposed to turn up today, but it didn't. It's been delayed until Monday, so which I was a bit bummed. So I'm just going to take the box in because the box is sexy. So I'm just going to take the box in a bag and take it there. But I'm going to see if I can fit it into my PlayStation VR case first. If I can't, I'm just going to take it in the box. But I kind of like, so yeah, it was due to arrive today, and I just thought, perfect timing. I'll take it into London, and then next week I'm up in Manchester for a day's workshop, and I'm going to take it up there as well. And I've just said to the guys, there's 2 objectives that I'm going to set them. I said to one of my project managers, I said, there's 2 objectives that I'm going to set you. I said, and if you get both of them done, I'll let you play Beat Saber at lunchtime. And he was like, right. The challenge accepted, and it's just
good old bribery.
Love it. Exactly, I just love it that you can just take that wherever I am, and I just kind of fire it up, and it's just so perfect. And like I say, it's like you, it's just given me that love back for VR, and it's just really cool.
I think I definitely. When I looked at it, I went for the Rift S because I've got the HP Omen, I've got the laptop. And I didn't find it too much of a faff. What I found with the S is a bit of a faff. The normal Rift was the sensors and the fact of you've got 3 USBs to use on your computer plus the HDMI, and then sometimes it would lose tracking or you'd have an issue with the USB. And I just wanted the fact that the HP starts up in like 20 secons and so I've got the ability to unbox it, put it on. I've got to plug a cable in, but I've not got to use the external sensors because like the Quest, it's got the tracking in the headset. And it's just a bit quicker, So I think if it wasn't for the fact that I had the computer, I'd definitely be in with the Quest as well. But because I've got the computer, that's why I thought, well, I'll go with the S and see what it's like. But I was playing Creed, the boxing game. And that was brilliant. You just got to be a bit careful with the boundaries because I was playing in the kitchen and nearly punched a fridge. But it was. But that's good because you're playing as a fighter and you can be boxing against Rocky Balboa. Mr. T, and it is really quite intriguing. And the only thing I was a bit bummed about is that we haven't got Vader Immortal on the Rift S. It's a Quest launch title, but. I'm on one of the Oculus Facebook groups, and apparently it's one of these ones where I think they've let it come out on the Quest to sell the Quest, and then they'll port it, for want of a better word, over to the S. But yeah, I mean, I agree with what James has said. It's like watching Netflix on it is a bit of an overkill, and there's a few things. Yeah, I know. There's a few things on there that's that are a bit sort of gimmicky, but yeah, it's just really interesting. I just really enjoyed it. So so I got to unbox that weekend, but but I'm also in the midst of a marathon training program at the moment as well. I've decided, stupidly or irresponsibly, I don't know, that I'm going to run the Bournemouth Marathon in October. So,
oh my God.
I was in the London Marathon back in 2012. I was due to do the London Marathon, and I injured myself, and so it was a bit gutting. So I decided, like a lot of people do, with inspiration of watching the London Marathon this year, to enter the ballot for next year. And I decided that I'd done a lot of weight loss last year, and I really enjoy running because probably a bit like yourself, you're surrounded by noise all the time, you're surrounded by gadgets, you're surrounded by TV, your phone's going, you're Skyping with fellow colleagues, or you're just working. And when you get home, you're with your loved one, you're talking about how's your day, you sit down and watch TV, and actually I quite like running because I don't wear any headphones. I just run. So I just put my trainers. I just put my trainers on, I put my watch on, and I just run, and I just look at what's around me. And think about, I might be thinking about work or thinking about gaming or something like that, but it's my time away from the world, sort of thing. Yeah. So I'm quite intense at the moment. I think I'm running every day apart from 1 or 2 days, and it's slowly up in every week. So I think I've got to do a 10 mile on Saturday.
Wow.
So that's sort of like working, doing that. So yeah, I'm gonna do that. And then I've entered a couple next year as well. So that's really what I've been up to. What about yourself? What have you been up to since last week?
Oh, nothing as energetic as that. I think I went to see Godzilla. Oh, did you? What was it like? I went to see Godzilla King of Monsters. Unfortunately, some job's worth, or someone who's not very good at their job, moron, I want to call them, didn't put it in the X Plus. Didn't put it in the X Plus on Blue Water. So we ended up going to IMAX. So I had my old ass groove was back for we went to the IMAX showing, and the only reason why I kind of didn't like the IMAX is because it was 3D, so it was IMAX 3D, but you had to wear those really stupid big glasses. You have to wear those glasses that do kind of. But I have to say, I was really, because I kind of went in there almost kind of a bit snobby, going, "Oh God, this isn't X Plus. My feet aren't up in the air. What is happening?"
My arse cheek is gone. Someone else sat in my seat.
This isn't mine. I'm squiggling around for about the first 15 minutes. I was like, "What is happening here?" But the movie's great. The movie's fantastic. And in the IMAX 3D, it was a really good showing of it. It was the 3D where I love 2D IMAX. I just love the whole kind of the size of the screen and just enjoying that. But the 3D in Godzilla was really good. There were some real moments where there's one where it's very dark and you just see Godzilla's son swimming towards them, and every now and then he just like pulses blue. There's an electric thing that he did at the end of the first movie, and you just see that pulsing. And because it's so dark and because it's 3D, it just felt it was incredible. I think I actually said, "Oh wow," out loud. Yeah. Nicola probably elbowing me, telling me to shut up. But it was very cool. And there was a couple of those moments where I did audibly kind of like gasp when I was watching it. But I enjoyed it. It was a great movie. I understand there's going to be another one, which I can't wait for, because they kept referencing Skull Island, so they kept referencing King Kong, and then I don't know if you've seen that movie with Samuel Jackson and Loki, Tom Hiddleston, and Captain Marvel as well. It's got Brie Larson in it, but the King Kong movie, which came out a couple of years ago, it's going to be that King Kong, because there was
it was Skull Island, wasn't it?
Yeah, so that was like
Island, yeah.
Yeah. So that King Kong, at the end of that movie, after the credits, they referenced all of the monsters, all the titans that you saw in Godzilla King of Monsters, and they kept saying, "Oh, and we've got activity in Skull Island, but you never saw King Kong." Right, so I kind of have a feeling that the next movie, which if you read the internet, is kind of Godzilla versus King Kong, which for me would just be, oh my god, I would just enjoy that so much. So it was a really good movie. Really enjoyed it. Like I say, in the IMAX 3D, it was just glorious.
No, I did enjoy. I mean, it's I did buy the King Kong. I think I watched it on Apple TV, because it's one of those ones which is like, well, I'm not sure about this, so right. I rented it on Apple TV. But I've got I can't think, I've said on the pod, but I've got a movie server up at the cinema. I've got a Kaleidoscope movie server up there, so it's sort of like it downloads digital movies onto a server, but it's bit for bit copy of a Blu-ray. So it's like having a Blu-ray, but it's stored digitally on the drive. And using some lovely VPNs, I can buy them from America. So like Captain Marvel 4K, I got that about a week or two ago, I think. And then I think things like some of the other ones I've pre-ordered, I think, like the American stuff, it comes out earlier over there than it does here. And it's great because I just VPN. I did it tonight, VPN. I sold my copy of Solo. Right. Disc. So then I went onto the American Kaleidoscope store via a VPN and bought it, because you can't buy it in the British store. So so that downloads automatically to the server, so it's there for me to watch next time. But I did buy it on the server because it was one of those things I watched and I really did enjoy it. And I saw the YouTube trailer for Godzilla, and I'm like, yeah, that does look good. I quite it's one of those films where it's a nice change. There's so many different genres of films out there that it's quite nice going into that type of world sometimes. The same as it is like nice going into the Marvel and DC, or the fictional or the real world. I do enjoy those films, and I really did enjoy King Kong Skull Island. I think that was a really good film.
Yeah, visually it was stunning. There were bits in that, like when they first break through, that was just incredible. When they first break through the clouds and go into Skull Island, and you see King Kong for the first time, that was jaw dropping. That was just, and it looks incredible in 4K. It just looks just lovely. But yeah, so I kind of went to see that. It was quite nice actually, because we went to see that. I think we came home. We went to a latest showing. We came home and then we watched Can You Ever Forgive Me, which was a fantastic movie with Melissa McCarthy and I'm going to blank on his name now, Richard E. Grant, which was a kind of true. I think Richard E. Grant was either nominated or won Oscars for it, and he. It was about a true story about an author that Melissa McCarthy plays called Lee Israel, who basically kind of did a bit of forging during her time. But it was one of those movies that it wasn't a sci-fi, it wasn't but it was just a glorious movie. And I just sat there and just really enjoyed it. The music was incredible. I've been playing the soundtrack in the office this week, and it was just really cool. So they were a couple of things. And then yesterday, kind of a bit of worky kind of thing. I did a talk yesterday at an application that I introduced into my PMO team and beyond. Now that we're using it a lot in all different departments at work. An application called Smartsheet, which is a fantastic project management tool, but just on steroids. It does so much more. And they had a London user group, so I was invited to kind of have a chat and have a talk. So I jumped up there, kind of in front of a whole audience, and just kind of like shared my stories of kind of what we've been using Smartsheet for and how we've been using it, and it was really good. It was really good fun. I came out completely hyper, so I really enjoyed it. They would kind of have the talk. I think about 25-minute talk I think I had, and it was really nice to just see that we've got like a community growing in this country, because it's very big in, I think it's Seattle based. So it's really good to see that we've got kind of a London-based user group, and this was the first one, and there was probably I think they said there was about 90 people or something like that. So it was really nice just to see that kind of audience and just talk to them and just share the experience we had. So I really enjoyed it. It was really good fun. It was so funny because it was just off of. It was just by Waterloo East, so I kind of went there, did the talk, and they were showing some of the new product updates after that. And then I just got on the train and almost passed out. I had my Switch, and I think I just got so excited and got myself in such a kind of, like Nicola texted me before saying, "Oh, are you nervous?" I was like, "No, I'm not nervous. I'm really excited. I can't wait to kind of like talk about it." And then after that, I got on the train and just conked out. I just absolutely conked out. And then I got to Tunbridge Wells, and I felt the train kind of do that, and I heard them go, "This is Tunbridge Wells." I was like, "Oh my god!" I properly fell asleep. I'd missed. So luckily, it wasn't a Hastings train. Otherwise, I'll have ended up your way asking for a lift home. I'm like,
knocking on my door.
Can we go via your media room first, your demo room first? But can you take me home? So that was really cool. So that was really cool. And then I can't believe it's only Thursday, and I'm back in London tomorrow as well. So for beer and a burrito. I mean work. Sorry, no work. I'm back in. We've
all seen your WhatsApp and your Twitter. You get to about 11:30 in the morning and start getting itchy feet, and then a Brewdog pub turns up about 12:30. We just happened to stumble across one.
Yeah, and then followed by a burrito not long after that. That is my thing. Like at work, kind of like we have a big meeting in the morning, and then in the afternoon, I'm like, right, guys, time for team building. Let's go to the pub. And I have itchy feet. I need at least, if I don't come away on a Friday, at least one beer in a burrito. I feel like I haven't won Friday. Put it that way.
Yeah, so Fridays for me are one of my longest days now because I do my day job.
Yeah,
and then I also do my my football league in the evening, which I run. So it's sort of like, I love it, don't get me wrong. I absolutely love doing football on a Friday night, especially when the weather's like it is at the moment, although I think it's supposed to rain tomorrow. But when you see pictures of people like up in London, or they're like, having out for dinner, or whatever, and I'm waiting to go over to Bexhill-on-Sea to a college and weigh in 40 fat blokes and then watch them play football and coach them. It's really, really rewarding, but it's sort of like I leave home at 6 o'clock in the morning and I get back about 10 o'clock at night. So
wow, that's a long old day.
So it is, but we have to do it.
Yes, no, it's all good fun. But that's what we've been up to. Stu, what have you been playing? What's his title? Bugger all.
Yeah, bugger all smiley face is what I've been playing.
It's a new title. It's in VR.
Yes, indeed, it's a VR title. It's a mixed reality. Actually, no, it's very reality. I think I've been in a weird mood lately. I've been one of those moods where I haven't had the time to get back into like Days Gone or to get back into Far Cry, because I've literally been flat out with work. I've been coming back and then either going for a run, having dinner, and then it's just got to the point where I'm just like, my brain dead and I just want to watch stuff. So actually on a TV watching thing, I've been watching loads of programs about people watching ultra marathons, and watched Free Solo about the guy who climbed El Capitan free-handed, so no ropes, or anything like that. So I've sort of like been in that. Then I've been sort of, okay, I'm going to put the Xbox on, and it's been one of those things where it's like, oh, I'm going to play a bit of that, play a bit of it, and it's sort of like, oh no, it's not really getting to me. Obviously then put the Rift on, play some Oculus, but put the Oculus on, play some Beat Saber. So but again it's so, and then there's also, I'm going away on holiday in about a month and a half, so things like Box Boy and Yoshi's Island, I'm sort of thinking, I got 6 hours on the plane, so there and back, plus the time on holiday, so it's like, actually, and I think James was saying it last week, it's almost like they're the games to save for a journey. So I've sort of parked those. So yeah, I mean, I've been dipping in. I've played a bit of Days Gone. I've played a bit of, gone back into Far Cry. I've been playing a bit of Forza Horizon and Forza Motorsport, just trying to get on top of that if rumours at E3 are true. So yeah, not a lot really. Not really jumped into it. Annoyingly, also, I know there's been a few games on Games with Gold that I missed out on, which I'm a bit annoyed about, which I wanted to download and have a play with. So not a lot to report on, I'm afraid. What about yourself?
Well, me, I mean, I didn't put it on the list, but I'm still playing Days Gone. I'm still playing this game. This game will just
Is it not finished?
It just won't end.
Damn you.
It was so funny. I played 2.5, 3 hours on Sunday. I went downstairs. I woke up really early, and I think because of the time change in the sun, I'm kind of waking up like really early, but feeling, so I just woke up and I just thought, you know what, I'm going to go downstairs. I'm going to finish that. Went downstairs and I played this mission and I was like, this is it. This is the end game. It was quite hard. And I thought, this is it. We're done. I'm going to see credits. Oh my God, this is going to be amazing. I'm not going to do any of the free roaming stuff afterwards. Only to finish that. And then I went, right, go back to the camp. And then the camp was like, right, we've just lost this guy. We now need you to go here. And I was like, oh, you've got to be kidding me. So I did all of that. And as I was saying last week, it's one of those ones where I'm enjoying the game. I really am enjoying the game, but it just won't end. And I know it's not, it's a funny thing to be moaning about, but I kind of feel like they could do with some editing. Do you know what I mean? And it's really interesting because when I first started playing this game, I'm like, I'm loving this game. I don't know what the critics were talking about. This game is amazing. But now I'm getting to the point going, will this game just end? Will it just finish? Will it just, and so I could almost feel that if you were reviewing it and this is how you were feeling in the last 8-9 hours of this game, then maybe that would taint your overall experience of the game.
Oh yeah, I get that because you listen to like Hollywood producers. I can't think who it was. It was Michael Bay or someone like that, and it was almost like people remember the last half an hour of a movie. So you can actually do a movie which is quite slow at the start and it gains and gains and gains, and people will forget about that. And as long as, sometimes if you do that last half an hour as all out bang action, that's what they go away really excited. So I think, if if you're really liking the game, which again I am as well, but it doesn't. It just stays on that melodic tone. I can see that you can then, you're getting to that point where it's not giving me anything fresh and like, ooh, blimey, let's go here, go there. I can see how it can get frustrating and get prolonged.
I think about 4 hours ago would have been really good to have finished. Where I am right now, there was a bit where I had this big song, this big bellowing song. I've got to a point in the story. There was all those things. I was just like, do you know what? Right now is the perfect time to stop. And I almost was going to just stop playing the game and just have that as my, that's my conclusion. That's my story on this game. But so I was playing it on Sunday. I was got to about the 2 hour, 3 hour mark. And then I did all of that, went back, did some more missions, did a bit more writing, did a bit more talking to people, all of that. And then I got to a piece where I had this ginormous horde of freakers that you've got to try and take out in a very very methodic way, and I'm trying, and I did that a couple of times. At one point, it was amazing. There was all these freaks, and then I managed to get myself into a stealth position, and I could just Molotov them and do all of this sort of stuff. And then at one point, this freaker came close to me, and I pressed the wrong button, so I hit the triangle. I jumped up, stealth killed this, but because I was surrounded by freakers, they all saw me. So I then ran into a house that you could then run in and they can't get into, because as you run in and something collapses. And then I was in a house, so I thought, I've got this. And there was a bar above at the top of the screen saying, like, you had to get this horde down. And so I thought, if I get this horde down, then I'm good to go. So I was just running around, making some more Molotovs and all of those sort of stuff. I'm building all of this, killing them, taking them out with guns. Some guns weren't taking them out. It was a bit buggy, but taking them out. And I got to probably, I don't know, kind of about 10 to 15% left on this horde. And I ran out of ammo completely. I had no ammo. So I just was like, right, I'm going to take a stamina, drink a pill, a stamina pill that keeps my stamina up, and I'm just going to run. So I just started to run, and I ran up to the guy who escorted me to this mission, and he just basically said, "What are you doing here?" Because behind me there was this ginormous horde. And then he died, I died, and at that point I was like, no, do you know what? I need to go and I need to pop into town, I need to kind of do dinner, I need to do all that sort of stuff. So I ended up just kind of like shutting it down, and I haven't been back since Sunday. I've been too busy, but I've just been playing other stuff as well. So I haven't been back to Sunday. So I may give it one more go, like this weekend, to see if that's kind of like trying to take out this horde stealthily is going to be a bit tricky. I might just stick a podcast on so I'm not getting too hyped up and too kind of stressed by the sounds of the music, and then just see if I can do it. I think I've been thinking about it. So, and, it's always a good sign when you've been thinking about a game. So, But I'll be glad when I see those credits. My God, will I cheer? Well, and not because I want to get rid of the game, but I had it from Boomerang. I've had it for probably about 2 months. It would be cheaper for me just to buy that game at this point.
I was going to say, was it a Boomerang title, or did you pay for it?
No, it's Boomerang. But I guess the good thing is there's been nothing else that has come out. So there's nothing else hitting my Boomerang queue until, I think there's something at the end of June, maybe like Mario Maker or something like that. I think there might be something like that that's kind of hitting my queue. But right now, I have 2 games in my queue anyway. I have a two game queue for Boomerang. And so it's not really getting in the way. But I was just like, I can't believe I've spent this long playing this game. But I will get to the end of it. So that was Days Gone. And then I've been playing Beat Saber. As we've been talking, I've been playing Beat Saber. Nicola was doing DIY in the office, so we're redecorating the office. And so she was doing some painting and some filling, and that didn't need my help. It was too finicky. So
you were getting in the way, basically.
Yeah, exactly. So I was just standing there, and she was like, "Get out of my way, do this." So I just went, "Do you need my help for the next half an hour?" And she was like, "No." So I just went downstairs, stuck VR on, and I just ended up playing Beat Saber for about an hour, and I went through on solo mode. I went through every single song that was available. There's another pack that you can buy, which I'm going to buy next time I jump in. But I basically just went through all of the songs in solo, just setting a high score in every one. And what I was hoping to do was create another account for Nicola. So similar to Xbox and PlayStation and stuff like that, I wanted to create another profile. So when Nicola jumped onto Oculus, she could just then say, right, it's me, I'm choose like Nicola, and then she could set her own high scores or the campaign in Beat Saber. But unfortunately, right now, it doesn't allow you to do that. So you cannot create. I went on the forums, had a quick look on Reddit. You cannot create another profile. Facebook are looking into it, and they're kind of going to do an update in the future to add that. But right now, you can't add multiple profiles. So similar to things like Xbox or whatever, you can't add multiple profiles to an Oculus Quest.
Oh, that's a shame, because as you say, it's an expensive piece of kit, and it's one of those things that you could see it being passed around the family, or kids using it, dad using it, mum using it. So it's a shame that you can't do that, because then you're overriding your own data, or Nicola's overriding your data, giving you a new score when it's not you. So
exactly.
So
setting some pretty damn impressive scores as well. That's the worst thing about it. They're not my scores. And then, like I say, when she went on Monday, she was like, "Ooh, fireworks!" I'm like, "Damn it!" Another one goes. But so that's going to come. It's going to be something that's constantly updated. But I was just like, even if there was like a guest, if there was a way of just going, right, you got Chessman, and then you've got guest. You could just then flip between the two. But unfortunately, they haven't got that. So I've been playing Beat Saber. I keep jumping into Vader Immortal, but then I just go, I really want to play Beat Saber, and I just start playing Beat Saber again. So I just was like, I just really want to play Beat Saber, and I just keep doing it. I keep going, I just want to play Beat Saber. So we ended up knocking the difficulty up to hard as well. And that is just, your arms are just flying around like a lunatic when you're playing that. And it's so funny.
I've tried some of the insane modes, and
how long did you last?
You don't. You get about 2 or 3 blocks in, and it goes boo, and it comes up with that screen saying you fail. The only issue I had with it, and I don't know whether it's, I think what the good thing about, I'm interested to see what's going to happen with the S, but the only thing I have had issues with it is the losing a picture in the headset. So it's almost like, and it losing the headset completely, saying it's not connected. So whether that's, because I know when you go to Facebook's or Oculus's page, it says sometimes you have to reinstall the graphics card. So I'm just hoping that's different on the S, because I was halfway through a Beat Saber game, playing it, really getting a good score, and then the screen would go. I can hear it. I can still hear it's going on, and if I take the headset off, I can still see the game on the PC, but I just can't see it.
Wow.
And it's just, it's weird. So, but no, it is one of those games where it's a bit like, I think James was talking about it last week with Rocket League, about with the guys playing when they're doing their Halo Fest thing. It is one of those ones where you go right, last game, and I've got to go and cook dinner. So you're like, right, you've got your not lightsabers up, and you're like, boom, 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 and you're like, I can do that better. One more. And I've done that wrong. All right, restart, one more. And before you know it, 45 minutes are gone and you're sweating like a bugger. And but yeah, it is a fantastic game, and I can see why it's got its hooks into you.
Absolutely. I kept saying that to Nicola, like on Monday. She kept going, right, fireworks. I was like, okay, one more go, and then I'm going to make dinner, and then you're going to miss dinner if you're just in there. And it was just like, so she was like, what? Okay, one more go. And then she just kept doing it. I was like, right, I am, and then I kind of like got up. I was like, right, I'm now making dinner now. And I was just like, so she was playing it, and but when I was playing it on Sunday, and also kind of like jumping around on Monday, I really do kind of like just like throw myself around while I'm playing it, but so much so that on Tuesday I went to Manchester, and I was walking there's quite a walk from the station to the office, about 15-minute walk, and I noticed that my thighs were hurting. So where I've been ducking and kind of not just like knees together, like real kind of like proper kind of, I've just been ducking down, but I just bloody hurt my thighs, my inner thighs, and I was just like, yeah, they've got to work out. This is awesome. I was walking up the escalator and like at Euston Station going, ooh, ow, what the hell is this, type thing. So it's cool.
I'm not used to doing this physical exercise.
No, and also my watch, I always make sure I have my watch on, put a sports strap on, and it does register activity. It does register that you're doing some kind of activity. I want an almost separate mode that is like you're doing VR. I'd like to just log VR activity.
When you look at it and you go running, elliptical, swimming, VR, or just Beat Saber,
yes,
I'm going to press that. I'm doing Beat Saber. But what do you think about the controllers? The way it recognises your left and your right is just. I think when you've come from PSVR and then you put on the move, I can't think what they're called, the motion controls or whatever. They are just so accurate. It's unbelievable. Yeah. I mean, I know on the Rift, it's just like. You put one down for one reason, and you're like, "Where is it? Oh, look, it's there," and it's showing you where it is, sitting on the table. You can just put your hand and pick it up. But that is just brilliant. I found that really, really useful. How accurate they were, and I think you said when I was listening to last week's pod, it's like resetting the floor. It's like just place your sensor on the floor. Place a control on the floor, it finds it, and it's like I think that is brilliant.
Yeah, just like circling around my room, setting the Guardian area, is just perfect, And like as you say, I was adjusting my headset, so I put both the controllers down, and they're just there. They're just there in nothing, and you just you reach for them, and it's not like you're kind of close or nearby. You reach for them and you're grabbing them. You are just kind of grabbing them, and and playing something like Robo Recall, is just incredible. It is like you are just kind of wherever the gun is, you can catch it. I was playing Super Hot as well, so I played Super Hot, and that is incredible for accuracy. You're catching, like someone throws a gun at you, or you shoot them and the gun flies out, and you're actually just catching the gun, and it's exactly where you want to catch it. Or you're ducking. Maybe that's why I got my thigh, because I kept ducking and punching the guy. I kept punching the guy kind of in the belly, and then just kind of coming up and punching the other one. Maybe that's why, because I was really like chucking myself around with Super Hot, and I kind of, it's really cool. It's really great. It's now available on Game Pass as well, for free. Super Hot, it came out today, and it's great fun. I'll do a proper kind of. I'm going to play through it probably at the weekend, so I'll do a proper kind of review on the pod, because we did get select code for it, but it's just it was really cool. So Super Hot, Robo Recall, Beat Saber. I'm sure when I take it into work tomorrow, it's just going to be like Beat Saber is just going to be the only game that's kind of played. And I did can you stream from it? Because can you stream? So can other people see what you see? So if you're playing Beat Saber, can you throw that up onto a TV so they can see you playing it? It can indeed. So when you open up the app, you open up the Oculus app, and in the top right hand corner there is like a headset with like a kind of Wi-Fi signal kind of coming out of it. You just hit that, and then it just goes on to so when Nicola was getting it set up, I was like, right, I need you to press this. She was like, press what? I'm like, I don't know, I can't see what's in there. And I was like, I know what I need to do. So I just basically just streamed it to my phone, and then I was watching the Apple event, but I could, if I wanted to, just swish up and then just stream it to the TV as well. So
cool.
So it just worked really well. So I could kind of say, right, okay, you see that, and then I could explain better where she needed to go. And then once you get her started, that was it.
You didn't try and boss her around, did you? Because
no. I was because she was like, "What should I press?" I was like, "I don't know. Explain what you're seeing, because I can't see it. It's not like on a screen where I can go press that button." I did not know. I was like, "What are you seeing? Are you seeing a fireplace? Are you seeing a nice little fireside mountain? Press the Oculus button." You know, it was just it was getting tense. So I just said, "Oh, I've got an idea," and then I just kind of took her through what she needed to do. So that's Beat Saber. Playing that, I'm sure I'm just going to be playing that so much. Like I say, there's another pack of 10 songs. That was funny, actually. When I was going to Manchester on Tuesday, I ended up went on to Apple Music, ended up like just streaming and listening to the Beat Saber soundtracks. Yeah. So I was just like, I was on the train, I was just writing some stuff that I was doing. I'm doing appraisals at the moment. I was writing up some appraisals, and I just listened to the Beat Saber soundtrack, and it was really nice. But the problem was, one of my favourite Beat Saber songs, when I was playing it, all I could see was blocks. So even though I was like typing on my laptop, I could just see blocks, and I almost felt my arms just kind of going in tune with kind of how I was doing it. So it really made me chuckle.
Close your eyes and start punching the person on the ceiling. Honestly, I did have there was a picture of, I think it was about a year or two ago, when VR started coming out of a kid sitting on the train with his headset on. I think it was like a Galaxy headset with a phone in it. And listening to the pod today, I just literally had images of you sitting on the Tunbridge Wells to Cannon Street train, all in your suit with your elbow patches on, just with this Oculus on your head, and everybody's looking at him going, right, well, Nicky's briefcase, we'll go into his pocket over there.
We'll take his phone. I tell you, I am tomorrow, I won't do it because I'm not that confident, but I was just like, I am one step away from just like kind of, I'm one step away from just sitting and putting on the train. It all depends if I have 1 or 2 pints on the lunchtime. If I have 2 pints, I'll just put it on. I'll be like, I don't care. I'll just stick it on.
It's a shame
watch Netflix.
It's a shame we don't have the slam door trains anymore, because you used to be able to get on slam doors and you could have a carriage yourself, didn't you?
Yes.
You know, you used to have the carriages, and you could go, a bit like the Orient Express, where you go into little. So, Pete, you can't go first class and get your own little pod, your own little carriage.
Yes.
Maybe 2 seats on a table, and you slide a door. And that train journey's like 300% more than it normally would be, but it just means you can flick a switch, do not disturb, and just sit there with your Oculus like, quiet, I'm playing Oculus.
You mentioned how stupid I'd look if I was in the bit on the train in the middle where the doors open. If I was standing in the middle of that, set my guarding area, just playing Beat Saber on the way home, I'd be having the best time, but everyone else would be like, look at that nutter. I'd probably take the Oculus off and the entire train would be empty anyway, because they'd be trying to avoid me. So that's Beat Saber. The other game I've been playing has also come out on Game Pass. I was going to call it Game Quest then. Has also come out on Game Pass, and that's Void Bastards. So I fired up Void Bastards the other night when that came out on Game Pass, and that is great. It has. If it wasn't for trying to finish Days Gone, I'd been playing a lot more of that. So I started playing, had a very quick look at it, spent a couple of hours in it, and it's a first-person shoot 'em up. I think I said on Twitter, it looks like it's just jumped out the pages of 2000 AD. It's a sci-fi, you're an ex-convict or a group of ex-convicts, because it's like a roguelike. So when you die, there's another person takes your place. So it's just another character. And you have to go and collecting trash. So there's all these ships that have been, just basically, they're just junk ships. They've just been put there, and you've got to go through them collecting things that you've been asked to collect. But the thing that I love about it is you gear up and you kind of level up, and that's really cool. But then you go into a ship and things are different. Everything changes. So they say, right, there's no gravity, or now the turrets are supporting you, and there's all this sort of stuff. And all of the enemies they're almost like 2D sprites that are just kind of floating around, and they look very different from everything else. So everything else is very bright, it's well animated, it moves like it's on butter, but the enemies are a little janky and they're a bit weird, and it's just, absolutely love it. And it's really funny because like Nicola came in, she was like, "What are you playing?" I was like, "I love this game." And there's been two things I've been kind of watching and playing recently that Nicola's kind of a bit worried about, because the other one is Good Omens, which is currently on Amazon Prime, which is bonkersly fantastic, and I just absolutely love it. And Nicola's watching it with me as well, but at the same time she was like, "Why do you love this program so much?" And I just do. There's something about me at the moment that is just broke and having a bit of fun. And Void Bastards is just like that as well. You know, it's just like that. It just kind of has that strange, weird wackiness, but I really love it. I fired up Outer Wilds last night as well, just to have a quick look at that, and that looks like a game that could be interesting. But I was like, do you know what? I just want to go back to Void Bastards, and I just wanted to kind of go back to that. But at that point, because of the day I had yesterday, I kind of like was ready to conk out. So I just like I wanted to watch some stuff before I went to bed, so I didn't play it. But Void Bastards, I highly recommend it. It's definitely worth it. It's on Game Pass, so it's free if you're in Game Pass, obviously. And it's really worth kind of like jumping in and just kind of trying it out. And so that's really what I've been playing.
Yeah, I had a quick Google because I remember seeing it somewhere. It might have been on Inside Xbox or something like that, and it was like, this looks quite interesting. And I just Googled it to remind myself. And yeah, you know, it is very sort of, you know, cel shaded, cartoony, and it just looks. It's just one of those games which, you know, scratches that different itch.
Yeah.
You know, it's like one of the games I might jump back into this weekend is Halo. I didn't finish the last Halo. I got about 2/3 of the way through it, and I think, you know, I really fancy like jumping back into Halo. I went into the Master Chief Collection. I went right back to Halo 1, and it was and I enjoyed it, but it was almost like no, I'm past that now. I want to get back into the other one, and for some reason I just didn't get back into it. So no, but I'm definitely going to jump on there and download that. And so Super Hot as well. I think that would be quite cool to download. I'd played that in Oculus, and yeah, it's actually quite. It's actually quite jumpy, because you've got to be really aware around you, because you don't realise there's someone behind you, do you? Sometimes, and you've got to really think. You know, like I am in a 3D space. I've got to, you know, make sure I'm turning around, because just because you shot that guy here doesn't mean there's not another one coming over your shoulder. So but no, it's I suppose it's great. We've got all those different games, and we can get a bit of this and a bit of that, and there's so many different experiences out there to be suitable for that mood during that night.
Yes, absolutely. I must admit, I am lacking. I think Nicola was as well. Put a call out in the WhatsApp group. You know, Nicola was lacking kind of a big game to play. You know, she wants like a big game to play, and so much so she's thinking about playing Zelda again. But I kind of said to her, you need to kind of jump into maybe like Horizon Zero Dawn or Assassin's Creed Odyssey, you know, or something like that. Because I think she's after like a Spider-Man game or a Zelda game or something like that, something meaty that she can really kind of get her teeth into, rather than these maybe bite-sized kind of indie games. She wants like a really big kind of AAA. So obviously we've got Gears coming out. We've got Borderlands coming out. So there's all that. But there was a rumor today. I heard a rumor read a rumor that Borderlands 2 might be getting some DLC. So Borderlands 2 came out yonks ago. But Borderlands 2 might be getting some DLC that basically sets up Borderlands 3. So, which is also interesting, because the Handsome Jack collection became free on, I think, Game Pass or Games with Gold, and is currently this month is free on PlayStation Plus. Okay. So it's almost like, right, we'll give it to everyone for free, and then we'll release some DLC that jumps them into Borderlands 3. So if they do this, I think it's quite clever, if they do it this way. But I said to Nicola, we might have that, you know, obviously in Borderlands, but she definitely wants to jump into like a single player game. So I think like maybe Horizon Zero Dawn or Assassin's Creed, you know, so it'll be...
Odyssey's good. Yeah. It's just bloody long. I mean, it's like, I think I put on the WhatsApp group, it's like, if she wants to not finish it quickly, but if she wants to do it in a sensible time, try and ignore a lot of the side missions, because, you know, I started playing. It starts on Kefalonia, which is one of my favourite Greek islands. Me and Kate used to go there all the time before Molly was born, and I'm like, right, I cannot leave the island until I've done everything. But then you go to another place, and you're like, okay, there's a lot to do here. I can't do that now. I think, I'm not sure how long. I know some people have done 60, 70 hours in it doing the main mission, but then also I know people have spent like 130, 140 hours in it doing everything.
Wow.
Plus you got all the DLC. But it's a brilliant, brilliant game. But it's a game that you could seriously take up a lot of your time, and not complete it when those other games you come out want to play. But yeah, it is good.
Yeah, I think for Nicola, she's not like us, she will be, I'm playing this game and, unless it's like Gears. Right. Unless it's like Gears or Halo or something like that, she'll be like, I'm just going to play this until we're finished. So Spider-Man was a testament to that. She got 100% on all of it, including the DLCs. So she's, it's something to do with, it's the Duke gene, we call it. So, it's just like she has to kind of duke it out, get 100%, and it makes me chuckle. Right. Let's jump into the news, but before we jump into the news, don't forget you can rate, review, and subscribe to this very podcast for free on iTunes, Spotify, and also YouTube. In the news section this week, we're pretty much going to be talking about E3, and it's probably a good place to actually kind of start. We got some feedback, email from a chap called Robbie Dunn, and Robbie wrote that with E3 less than a week away, what are you guys looking forward to? What would you like to see, in brackets, wild speculation, and what are your top 3 predictions? I'm sure Antony's is a new Viva Piñata, damn straight. And I didn't put that in my predictions because I just thought, well, he's already done it there. But of course, on Sunday, I will be getting my Viva Piñata t-shirt out, as I do now every E3. I wear it probably twice a year now, and it's like E3. It's just like, right, I want that Viva Piñata, so I'll be wearing that on Sunday.
It's almost like a given now. It's just in there. It's sort of like, it's in there. It's like for every E3, the prediction is Viva Piñata. And it's it's a shame we don't know anybody who could elaborate on it, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
He's not allowed.
If I had 3 predictions, I would only really have 2 because Viva Piñata is always in there. Do you know what? Like I said last year, James. Like I said last year, all I want is like to tide me over is like a 4K HDR version of TIP with brand new achievements. Surely that's easy. That's file save as. Surely,
I mean, they're not doing much this year. I mean, it's not like they've pushed out much content for that other little game they've got.
No, it's not like Rare are dealing with an open world, or not an open world, but a game for service game that they need to constantly update with awesomeness. It's not like that, but they could definitely
just put a few devs off to one side, sit them in the corner. As a reward, they can use their Oculus Quest, but just get them making it look shiny, and just a couple more rewards for doing piñata bashing or something like that.
I've even offered for the last couple of years that the day, if ever, it probably never happened because it's just too much of a good game. But it's just like if they ever announce a new Viva Piñata, I would personally run to Tricross, probably get in the car. Not my car at the moment because it's crap. I would probably run to Tricross and I will buy donuts for everyone and probably hug everyone at the door. I'll get good donuts and I'll be like, thank you very much, hug. I'll be there at the door going, are you working on the new Viva Piñata? Like, yeah, hug, donut, right, next. And then just get escorted away by the security at some point.
Maybe the hug is putting them off more than the dry donut is attracting them.
Maybe that's it. They were this close to making it, but then they heard this podcast and was like, no, there's a nutter that's going to hug us and give us a donut. So it's just like, yeah.
Especially once he's finished running here and he's all sweaty.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm ruining it for myself. Right. So Robbie says, what are we most looking forward to? What would we like to see? Wild speculations. And what are our predictions? I like the way that Robbie's kind of done this. So Stu, what are you looking forward to? Kind of, I guess this is almost kind of like the stuff that maybe we know is a given, stuff that's like circling around. What kind of things are kind of ticking your box at the moment?
I mean, I think I'm on spec with what you've put in your list, which we'll get to in a minute. Apart from one of them, which to be honest, I don't really care about.
That's no way to talk about Forza Horizon 4.
No, definitely not that. It's for me, Halo. Halo has got a place in my heart. It really is the game that got me into that genre. I never was a really big fan of sort of shooters and that. And something about Halo 1, back on the OG Xbox really gripped me. So it's always that game I always like to to buy. Gears as well, so really looking forward to seeing a bit more of Gears. That's another one, a bit like with you guys. It's a day and day, take the day off, play it through on your own, play it through on co-op, and really sort of see. So want to see some good content from those, because I think it's about we're ready for them. I don't know. Have we got a release date? Gears is this year, isn't it?
Yeah, there was a rumor going around that it was coming out maybe, because I joked with Nicola going, it's maybe kind of 2 weeks before Borderlands 3, but that's just a rumor. So it's going to be September. It's going to be September, and with Call of Duty coming out now in October, September's a really good date for it.
Yeah, that square ball slightly, that looks good. I really liking the look of Call of Duty, this year. And then Halo, want to see, because we've not really seen anything of Halo, so want to see Halo and want to see what's more about that. And then one game that really grabbed me last year, and was it the game that closed it? It's Cyberpunk 2077. Was that the one that closed the Xbox conference last year? That really got me when they closed it, and then when they did that hour and a half jump in, about 6 months ago. I sat and watched the whole of that, and I was just like, take my money. I really want to play this game. It just, again, it's a similar sort of genre, but it's just slightly different. I like the idea of you can upgrade yourself, so you can upgrade your eyeballs and you can upgrade all your parts of you, and it's an open world. And so I think really there's a lot I want to see, and obviously we'll get on to your ones, but I think for me, when I was thinking about it the other day, Halo, Gears, Cyberpunk. I know I'm not going to get Cyberpunk this year. I probably know I'm not going to get Halo this year. But I just want to see a bit more from them, learn a bit more about them.
Yeah, I must admit, I think your list is awesome. I think and yours is all Sunday, because I'm sure Cyberpunk will be Microsoft again. Well, there's nowhere else for it to go, is there? Because there's no PlayStation conference, so it's got to be Microsoft. But just I can't wait to see, because I know we saw a bit of Gears, didn't we, last time? We've seen a bit of Gears, but I want to kind of see what that's like. And then just seeing Halo Infinite is just going to be amazing. Just start with that. Imagine if they started with that. It's just going to be. It's 2 hours long on Sunday.
Yeah,
it's 9 to 11, and I'm just like, keep going. Keep keep giving me good stuff. So for me, the ones that I'm looking forward to is I'm looking forward to Star Wars. Obviously, I'm a trigger finger away from pre-ordering that, but I just can't, because I hear James every time I get near the pre-order button. But I just want to see. I want to see what that game's like, and it's really interesting for me, because this is going to be Greg Miller and Andrea Renee from Kind of Funny and What's Good Games are going to be doing the showcase for this on Saturday. So I'm really looking forward to seeing how they present it. But for me, it's just, I can't wait to see what this game is. I saw a box art today that was Star Wars, and that just fills me with joy. If I'm just being able to just kind of play that game, the Fallen Order, I just can't wait to see what it is, because all we got was the cinematics, but I want to just have a look and see what that gameplay is, and that's what they're going to go. They're going to go straight for gameplay. We'll probably get a new cinematic, probably set the story, and then just go straight into gameplay, and I can't wait to see that.
I mean, I really enjoyed the campaign in Battlefront 2.
Yes,
I really enjoyed that, and then when they did the next chapter, or the final chapter with the DLC, it was like, yeah, I'm with this. If you want to, do your multiplayer side of it, great. But what would be really nice is when you release new maps for multiplayer, you release another chapter, another episode for that, because I really enjoyed that, and that really got me really interested. And and as I think you mentioned last week with Call of Duty, it's a given for us two. It's single player every year. Might jump into zombies, might jump into a bit of multiplayer, but for me, the single player, and to do hopefully a good single player campaign that really gets you into that Star Wars world. And hats off. And they're putting it up front, aren't they? So it's the first thing they're showing as well. Yeah. So it's sort of like, hopefully they're doing it to get the audience in and then not leave. They're staying and watch the rest of it. But I got a feeling the figures are going to drop off quite a bit after the Star Wars reveal. But yeah, I'm looking forward to that. Really looking forward to that.
I said to Nicola, I'll watch the Star Wars reveal and then I'll order. We're going to have Thai on Saturday from the really nice takeaway in Tunbridge Wells. So I just said, I'll watch the reveal and then after that I'll order the Thai. And then it's just like, so well, I'm just like, there's Apex, there's FIFA, there's Sims. I think they've kind of got, but the thing that kind of perplexes me with EA is that this event is great. It's showing us loads of gameplay, but they should have had like a little mini conference beforehand, just a couple of sizzle reels or something like that. Maybe they will. Maybe they'll start with a couple of scissor wheels, but for me it's Star Wars. And then the next one, and this is going to be a bit of a tough one because this is like Avengers. So Square Enix are doing an Avengers game. This is Monday at 1:00 in the morning. So we've got, and I am going to be up. I've got to go to Manchester on Tuesday, so I've got to be up at 4:30. But I am going to be up. I want to see this game straight away. I don't want to see it on, because the problem I have is that if I've got to go to Manchester, so I've got to jump on the train, the connection, even though there's Wi-Fi on Southeastern trains, is abysmal. I could not stream xCloud going from Tunbridge Wells to London. It's just not going to work there because I can barely get to a website. So it means I'll just see screenshots, I'll see broken videos, I'll see all of that. So I just thought, you know what, I'm just going to wake up, watch that, and then kind of maybe then just pass out for another couple of hours. And I cannot wait. The fact that Square Enix are making an Avengers game, Marvel Avengers, I cannot wait to see that. So that's kind of the next thing that I'm looking forward to. And
so
then,
how do you think they're going to handle that? Because I've been listening to a few podcasts this week, and people are like, you can't play it's not feasible that you can switch between Avengers characters and then for all be they can't invest that much time into Iron Man and into Hulk and into the other characters. So is it that you're going to play as that character in that scene and then flick to another character, or you're going to play as the whole game as Iron Man and the other ones are just going to be around you, talking to you and playing? I mean, do we know anything about that yet?
No, I mean all they've said is that it's going to be co-op. All they said they have confirmed that it's going to be co-op, and I just reckon that you're right. You're going to choose the Avenger that you want to take out in this scene, and maybe it'll be like if you think about like Avengers Infinity War or Endgame,
haven't seen them, don't spoil them.
There's this bit that is incredible. They basically you just have but if you look at I'll go old school for you. Avengers Assemble. There are scenes where you're just Thor. It's just Thor and Loki. There's scenes where there is just Hawkeye and Captain America. So maybe they'll just do that. If you look at Marvel's Spider-Man, that switches between Gwen Stacy, Miles Morales, and Peter Parker. So it just switches. And even though Peter Parker was the best one, Miles was awesome, but just being Peter Parker was where you wanted to be. I'm sure that it's going to do something like that, where it will just go, right, here's the mission, here's the story beat. You can choose between Captain America, or you can choose between Iron Man, War Machine, and maybe, Wanda Maximoff, something like that. And you just have those 4 or 5 that you need to select. You select those, and then off you go, and then you go into that mission. I think that's because otherwise, if they just have, here's all the Avengers, you're going to have, my brother-in-law, Brad, will just choose the Hulk and play through the entire game as the Hulk, because he loves the Hulk. Yeah. So he would just Hulk smash his way through that story, and I just like, and I can't see them allowing that, so I just kind of feel like it will be kind of like, here's your couple of characters. Take, for instance, the Marvel Ultimate games that are coming out. You build a team. So you go, here's, out of all of those, I'm taking these 3 into this story beat. And I'm just playing as those 3. And then if that doesn't really work out, look at Lego games. They do exactly the same thing, where you kind of, here's the story. Who do you want to take into that game? Get to the end, and then you have free play mode. I'm following the Lego model now. You get to the end of it, you do free play, and you can be anyone. You can be Stan Lee, and Stan Lee has to have a cameo in this game. And so I'm incredibly excited. If Square Enix do what they need to do with this is going to be just incredible. Part of me wants it to be out like now. Part of me wants it to be out now, but I'm happy to wait a year. I'm happy to wait for the next Xbox, PS5, all of that malarkey for this game, because Star Wars, Call of Duty, Borderlands, Gears, all of that good stuff, Animal Crossing, which we'll get to in a moment, all of that is going to take up this year. So I'm happy for Avengers to be a 2020 release.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, as I say, if they need to take a bit more time, let's not mess up a good franchise. Let's not
Spring 2020.
Yeah, let's not DC Marvel. Let's put a bit more time in it, because I think it's a game that a lot of people are looking forward to. And I think the thing is, with what's the EA game that they're not bringing, the one that is a bit of the one where you fly around like Iron Man.
Anthem.
I think if they can get off they can get like the feeling of like Anthem in a way into like Iron Man, and they can replicate that feeling of how satisfying it is to do that, and then do that throughout the characters. I think it'll be really good. I mean, I watched Captain Strange trying to catch up with Endgame.
Doctor Strange
even. I watched Doctor Strange, and I was pleasantly surprised. I really enjoyed that film, and I think like the whole thing with the cloak and I think that comic side of it was good. So I think if they can not make it too serious, and when you go over to Doctor Strange, there's a bit of comic with the cloak there, and just really pull off the characters. I think that will be really, really good. So So what else are you looking forward to?
So looking forward to it should really be in a prediction, but I'm looking forward to it, is DLC for Forza Horizon 4. Where is it? Where is it, Playground Games? Where is it? You owe us DLC. No, they don't owe us anything. They've already given us the most amazing game. But where is the DLC for Forza Horizon 4? We've only had one piece. We've had one piece of DLC.
I've heard that I couldn't find the article. All the articles I found, but I think it was kind of funny. Sort of did a news item on saying that there is no Forza this year. There is no Forza Motorsport, because it's obviously Motorsport 8. Is it? Is it 8 we're up to? It is Motorsport's term, but they have apparently gone on record saying that there will be no Motorsport 8 this year. There's still lots of work they need to do with 7. I've sort of heard things that it's going down that route. That actually it might be a freshen up to Motorsport rather than DLC for Forza Horizon 4. But you're right. We've only had one DLC. So yeah, where is the funky hot rod one we had from last time? Where is there something a bit different? So
London. Where's London? Yeah. I mean, I think
London,
when we bought the Ultimate Editions, and I'm sure that gave you access to 2 pieces of DLC. I'm sure the Ultimate kind of gave you access, so I kind of feel that, and that's why I'm kind of betting that we'll see DLC for Forza Horizon 4, and then maybe they'll give maybe both Dan Greenwald and Turn 10 and We Are Playground will both come out and just go, there's no new Forza this year, but you're getting this. Because over on Forza Motorsport 7, they've been changing a lot of stuff. They've got competitive rules. They've been adding some new stuff. I went in, because I go in every week because I'm trying to get my collector achievement of collecting 700 cars, which I will get before Forza 8 comes out. Before Forza 8. But maybe, for me, I feel that Forza 8, they should save Forza Motorsport 8 for the new Xbox. Just kind of save that for that, make it gorgeous and shiny. We've already got what we need. Let's get some DLC. If you remember when Storm Island came out, when the ones for 3 came out with the Hot Wheels and all those other ones, they completely refreshed all of our interests for Forza Horizon 4. So all we need is for We Are Playground, or Playground Games, to just come out with some DLC. And that's just, the game already looks stunning. The game looks gorgeous. I jump in every week and check out the new seasons, and it's just absolutely superb. My nephew was over a couple of weeks ago. We were playing until early hours of the morning, unlocking minis and stuff, and it was just great fun. So we have that foundation there. Let's get some DLC for it. Let's just give us a revitalization and then get something pretty darn slick for 8. And I'm happy. I'm happy for that. So I'm looking forward to kind of some DLC for that.
Definitely.
And then finally, Animal Crossing. I can't wait to see it on the Switch. Actually, I'm just thinking, because obviously I put an image into our WhatsApp group today, just showing what Nintendo were saying that they were going to be showing, which got Mr. Thomas kind of very excited. And they basically just said Ultimate Alliance 3, Zelda Link's Awakening, Pokemon Sword and Shield, and Luigi's Mansion 3. There was no Animal Crossing in there.
No. I think James has burst, though. I think he's currently recovering from a mild stroke, isn't he? He just went crazy on WhatsApp when that got announced. So, but yeah, they've not said anything about Animal Crossing. So, yeah.
It just twigged as I was talking. I was like, hold up, I didn't see an Animal Crossing logo. But that doesn't mean it's not there, because what they did put in the bottom right-hand corner was "and more." And that "and more" is going to be Animal Crossing. But I do, with Zelda Link's Awakening, Luigi's Mansion 3, Ultimate Alliance, Marvel Ultimate Alliance, and Pokemon, I do worry that we're running out of space for Nintendo for Animal Crossing this year.
Yeah, I mean they're really, and if we bring out, if there's any DLC for some of the other games, it is a case of there is quite a lot of content on the Switch, and if they release too much, you're going to get to that point where it's like, you don't know what to play. Like sometimes we have with AAAs, around Christmas time, it's like, do I play Battlefield? Do I play Battlefront? Do I play Call of Duty? Do I play this? Do I play that? And it's an overload. So, personally, I mean, I'm not a huge fan of Animal Crossing. I have a love-hate relationship with my Switch. I love having it and I love taking it with me, but sometimes I don't use it as much as I should. But I know it's my Nintendo console, so I need to have it in my life. How that will change when some of the other technologies come out, so like what we'll get onto with Stadia and xCloud. But yeah, will they do it as and just one more thing before we go, and then show you a tease, more to come in 2020.
Or just its own direct later on, because I think they do. Nintendo have a direct on. Just lost that image. So they have a Nintendo Direct on Tuesday at 9 a.m. I think this is Pacific time. And then Wednesday they have a Treehouse Live, and then they have another one. They have Indie Day on Thursday. But you would think their Nintendo Direct would have like Animal Crossing, but I'm now getting worried that maybe I'm not looking forward to that, and that should have gone into my predictions. But right, next up, Robbie was asking, what would you like to see? I think staying on the Animal Crossing for me was an Animal Crossing Switch. So they brought out some gorgeous, I think they were 3DSs, and there were some Animal Crossing 3DS, and they were just absolutely lovely. One of them actually kind of was a little bit embossed and had some engravings of a leaf, and it was just gorgeous. To have a Switch like that, I would absolutely love that. What about you, Stu? What are you?
They did an Eevee. Did they do an Eevee and Pikachu one for Pokemon? Didn't they? They did. Yeah. Yeah, so they've got premise for doing it. So yeah, obviously it's whether they just changing the controllers, Joy-Cons, really, isn't it? So it's there's no real reason for them not to do it.
But I want a nice leaf embossed into the back of the Switch, and that would just that would be lovely. What about you, Steve? What would you like to see?
I'm interested. I mean, obviously, I'm keen on what we see from xCloud, which obviously we'll get onto, but I'm keen to learn more about this Nintendo Xbox crossover. I think before xCloud, I was, I want to be able to play an Xbox game and get achievements when I'm on the road. So I want to be able to access my game on one console, pick it up on another console, which again we'll get onto. So I'm quite interested to see if there's any more crossover. Maybe some Nintendo IPs coming on the Xbox, but more, or some Xbox IPs coming on the Switch, which for me just brings a bit more life into my Switch. It is my sit in a cupboard and get dusty. So quite interested in that. Obviously, want to hear. I mean, it's a bit of a criticism to myself, because I do find that we spend so much time talking about what's next. Enjoy what's now. If we go back to DLC, it's like I'm really happy. Like Assassins is taking a break, and I quite like the idea of maybe Call of Duty taking a break. Some of these big games that we have, maybe just set the base down and then bring in some iterations and some new DLC for them. So although although I am a bit sort of like I'm enjoying my Xbox One X. I'm really enjoying it. We're getting some stunning games, and they look beautiful. Like Division look absolutely stunning on it. But I can just go back to when they brought up that scissor reel of Project Scorpio, and they had people, they're talking about their flops and all this lot, and I just remember just getting excited about it. So although I don't want it, I know it's going to happen, and I just want to see what's going on. Sony have shown their card with their, our old game runs better on our new console. Go figure. But so although I don't want to see it, I do want to see it. So that would be quite interesting. Do you think we'll see anything? Do you think they've got to show something with what Sony have done and what obviously Stadia have done?
Most definitely. I think, if you remember a couple of E3s ago, they ended, didn't they, with that kind of Scorpio scissor wheel where people were talking about it. I think if they don't go, ta-da, here's our next Xbox, and they kind of go all out on it and say it will be out in the spring next year, I feel that they'll end with it. I think that maybe just before they finish with a big game, they'll have something where Phil comes out and says, right, we've got this and we want to show you, and then they go through and just take you through a scissor wheel, maybe even showing kind of what those games look like, on there, kind of giving you a very early glimpse. I think if they kind of give you like an early glimpse, bit of a scissor wheel, maybe some devs talking about how it looks, then, you're definitely going to be November, November next year. Obviously, if they come out and go, here's the price, and this is what it's called, and this is what the controller looks like, then maybe they might go crazy and release it in the spring, because, games we have quite a big gaming window now in the spring, so it wouldn't be bonkers to do that. It wouldn't be bonkers to do that. But I definitely feel that in those 2 hours, we're not going to come away not knowing a little bit more about what that next Xbox is going to be.
Well, they've got the stage, really, haven't they? Because Sony are not there. They've got the stage to do it. So I think I'll be very, very surprised if we see a console or we see price or anything like that. I think we're more likely going to go down the scissor reel of we're constantly. I mean, there was an interview with one of the lead designers, I think, on one of the other podcasts a while back, and it was like, even when the Xbox One came out, we were working on the future. We're always constantly working, on the next box. So I think it's obviously there, and I think they might do a scissor reel. So no, it'll be interesting to see that. The other thing
I would like to see. Sorry, I was going to say what I'd like to see from the scissor reel. You imagine if they go right throughout the conference, they go, here's some new stuff for Sea of Thieves, here's some new stuff for Forza Horizon 4, here's Halo, here's Gears 5, and in the scissor reel you get to see what they look like, because it's going to be the same game. I think where we've gone from the Xbox One to the X to the next, it's going to be that game that runs on all of those consoles, but it just looks better as you kind of get to those other consoles. And that would be really cool. It'd be like, guess what? It's running on the most powerful console, Xbox One X, but this is what it looks like. This is what it's going to look like next year. All those games that I mentioned, Sea of Thieves, Forza Horizon, Gears, and Halo, are free on Game Pass. So they've got nothing to lose. They've got nothing to lose. If you're already in Game Pass, so if you don't download Halo because you're waiting for it to come out next year, then they've still got your monthly money. So there's nothing that they're gambling. Obviously, not everyone's in Game Pass. You should be in Game Pass if you have an Xbox, but not everyone's there. But it's a gamble that they could take. They could actually say, this is what Halo and Gears looks like, and leave you with that jaw-dropping moment.
Yeah, definitely. I think that would be good. And I think for me, I just want to see. I mean, we'll get onto it, but we watched the Stadia thing, and there was something quite interesting on there what sort of piqued my interest in one of the games they showed. But I just want to see some new IPs. I mean, just some, like I think you guys are talking, like, Rocket League. Who'd have thought of it? Overcooked. Who'd have thought of it? So it's just, I mean, I love the AAAs and I love the titles, and we want to play Division 23 and all that lot, but maybe just some off the cuff stuff, Limbo, those type of games. Just something you look at and think, oh, that's a bit interesting. That looks a bit different. So I think just some new stuff which gives you some sort of like intrigues you and just pushes a few buttons and maybe something you've not thought about before.
Absolutely. I mean, like, a couple of years ago, we had, for the last couple of E3s, we've had Ori. They showed that in a scissor wheel, and you're like, what was that? Cuphead. There was a second of Cuphead, and I went bananas for it. I was just like, turns out it's too hard, and I can't play it, but it's amazing.
You get it in your Tesla now, though.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you can play a level, and but it's just like, so they've got that. Then there was last year, there was like a Blade Runner kind of looking game that's I've never seen again. Turns out the developer, there was something wrong with the developer. He was like some kind of sexist, misogynist or something, but the game looked incredible, and I've never seen, I can't even remember what the game was called, but they always show something that piques your interest. That my eyes and my ears prick up when the indie scissor wheel starts. That's always like what little gems have you got in here? And it's always the way, so it's quite nice to kind of see that. So I'm with you on that one as well. And I think my last, what I would like to see, I think has been quashed today. And that was a new Batman game from Rocksteady. I say that as much as I say Viva Piñata every year. But similar to last year, Rocksteady have done that.
I thought it was the exact same statement as last year. And I'm like, have they got confused? Because it is word for word exactly as they said last year.
Yep, almost copy and paste. Rocksteady will not be at E3 this year, and I was just
we'll be busy watching from London like the rest of you, And it's like, you said that last year.
Yeah. Those words just kind of like just kind of whether Sony have got a conference coming and and they've got it kind of showed it first on there or something like that later on in the year, I just don't know. But yeah, it just really, I was like, I put that down ages ago. Well, this week when we put the doc together, and then that got quashed. But I thought I'd still leave it there just in that hope that I'll get a Viva Piñata and a Batman game.
It's a ruse. They are going to be there. They've just not told anybody.
That's it. That's all I want. I'm a very simple man, Stu. I just want I want Animal Crossing, Batman, and Viva Piñata. That's it. Is that too much to ask? And then finally, bonkers predictions. Any predictions from you, sir?
I want to see some. I think the one I really want to see, and I've just got a sneaking feeling that we might see something, is Valley of the Gods from Campo Santo.
Right.
Because obviously they got bought out, or they've got more money behind them now because Valve bought them, wasn't it? And we've seen shots, but we've not seen much from them. And I'm just thinking, okay, it's been a while since Firewatch. I just want to see something, even if it's just an extended play. I mean, I don't know where it will be because there's not many places to show it. Will it be in the PC Gamer Show But it would just be nice to see what they've been doing. So I think that one will be quite interesting. Do you think we'll see anything from it?
We've got to be able. I mean, like I say, last year we had quite a beefy trailer, didn't we? They kind of showed it, they kind of announced it. So maybe that'll be kind of in as part of the Xbox kind of, indie showcase, and then maybe kind of have a little bit more of that. But that, even if it's not in any of the events, maybe it'll be on the show floor, and then you'll get to see it later. They'll release some kind of trailer or something like that, and it's playable on the E3 show floor. Because don't forget, there's a lot of booths still there. There's a lot of space because Sony and EA and Microsoft are not in the main halls, but there's still booths there. So all it would take is for Valve to have like a little bit of an area where they could show off. They could show this off. They could have that there, but it would make sense. Like I say, the only one that you can really bank on, as you say, is a PC one, or Xbox now, because unless it turns up on Nintendo, unless it turns up on Nintendo as well, it could. That'd be great. You can play Firewatch on Switch now, can't you?
Yes, you can. Yeah. So maybe they'll show up there. And then my other one was just I want to see some kick-ass titles from Xbox. I want to see some, going back to my new IP stuff. I want to see something other than Halo and Gears, which you just sit there. And I know some of those studios, we know what's coming from them, but I just want something Squareball which you sort of sit there and go, wow, that looks amazing. Even if it's only a scissor reel, or if it's only something really small, this is what we're working on. We're really excited about this. Even if it just ends the show like Cyberpunk did last year, just to sort of reinsert that they're really focusing on those first party titles now.
Yeah, well, they have a lot of studios, don't they? They've bought about 14 studios, so they've got a big pedigree there, ready to kind of take those. So let's hope that we get something there. For me, my predictions are xCloud Beta goes live straight after the Microsoft conference.
I'm literally going to be sitting in my lounge with my laptop on my lap, going, limited beta, live in these countries. Again, we'll get into it in a minute, a bit like Stadia have done today. Sign up now, boom, because I think there's a lot of movement in this, and there's a lot of news about this, and they've got to be ready. I think didn't Major Nelson and who does the show with Major Nelson? The guy, I can't think of his name now.
Jeff.
Yeah,
Jeff Rubenstein.
Because didn't Major Nelson and Jeff say they've been playing it as well? So we heard that Phil's been playing it on his own dedicated server, there's got to go to a public beta, because I think that's the only way they can. I mean, obviously you're using the Azure service, so there's no real need to stress test it. But I think they've got to stress test it. So I think I'm with you. I want this, and I will be wanting to sign up for it straight away.
Yeah, it's a take-home at the moment, so that means that Microsoft employees can take it home and play. That was the last milestone that Phil tweeted from. He was with the xCloud team, and he was just like proud to announce that it's a take-home. So, obviously it is just a case of throwing some more servers in, he says, tongue-in-cheek. But I would love to be, I hope that with Stadia, which we'll get to in just a mo, that was fantastic, but it was kind of like November. So you got to wait till November. There's nothing happening from now until November, which was kind of a little bit of an anticlimax. I'd love for xCloud Beta to just be, live now. Sign up now for July or whatever, because it's an interesting one. Because do you do that and let people use it? Or, because if you think about it, all of those reviewers, critics, are all at E3 running around. So none of them will be able to play it unless they go to that Microsoft event afterwards and then they have access to it. So, is Microsoft still reliant on streamers and YouTubers and IGNs and GameSpots of the world? Or could they actually just say, do you know what, guys? It's available now for everyone to get your hands on. We're so confident about this that we can then just say, right, bang, there it is. There's the beta. It's live. You can play any of your games on it. And I'd go bananas. I wouldn't go to bed. If they went, it's live now, I'd probably just log on and then just exactly. Just kind of, we'll get to that later, with iOS being able to support controllers and things like that. It just lends itself well. I still worry about my train journey, but, that's going to get better over time as well. The whole infrastructure will get better. I think, and it's not like Microsoft haven't got the employees to stress test it, because as you say, if it's an employee take it home now, they're not short of employees around the world, Microsoft, so they can quite easily stress test it with people who work for them under an NDA. So exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
They might miss that and just go full public beta, and beat beat Stadia to it.
And it's not the first time that things have been announced and released at E3, and all of those sites, all of those new sites, they have people waiting back in the offices ready to kind of handle stuff like this. They will straight after that be in the Microsoft Theatre and give everyone hands-on so people can play around with that. So there's lots of chance for those people that are attending E3 to get their hands on this as well. But it's quite nice when they kind of share that stuff with everyone. My next piece of predictions is that we're going to get a chunky DLC for either Mario Odyssey or Zelda Breath of the Wild.
Yeah, definitely.
Something from those, that I don't think we're ready for a new game of any of those, but maybe a new area for Zelda or a new kind of couple of levels for Mario. But kind of a prediction is that we'll see some chunky DLC.
I think you might be on the money there. I think it's there's a lot of development's gone into both of those games, and there's not been a lot of DLC or add-ons for them. So you've sort of both of those games were the real two. I sunk a lot of time into both of those games, and it was Sunday night after dinner, we'd be chilling out. The girls might be watching something like The Voice or some sort of singing program or Strictly Come Dancing, and I'd be sitting here, on the Switch playing that. Then I'd dock it and put it on the big TV, and so yeah, I could quite happily soak up some of that. So yeah, I think it'd be shame for them to put those IPs to one side and go, right, no more coming. We're focusing on the next gen. So for the moment, you've got Luigi's Mansion.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I could kind of see it in the Nintendo Direct going from that gorgeous 2.5D reimagining of Link's Awakening, and then just kind of almost doing some kind of swishing motion, and then that just basically goes into an open world Zelda, and you're like confused for a moment. What is this? What have I got? And then suddenly it's Breath of the Wild, something, Wind Waker or something. I don't know, but it would be really nice to see some kind of chunky DLC for that. And then my last crazy prediction is that we are going to see Rare Replay on the Switch.
Yeah, I can see that. It's the perfect game for it, or the perfect games for it.
Rare Replay on the Switch. Give me Viva Piñata. Give me Banjo. give me all of those great games. Give me I was going to say Beat Saber. Give me Saber Wharf. Give me all those stuff. Give me just Solar Jetman. On the Switch, and it would just be in Rare Replay, and that would be fantastic. It'll probably make Thomas's year, because his face is in the Rare Replay, and his face will be on the Switch, and I'm sure we'll get spammed with that if that ever happens.
We'll be screen grabbing that.
Yeah, exactly. My prediction is that Rare Replay comes to the Switch as part of this whole. You said, I think, in one of what we'd like to see was your Nintendo Xbox crossover. Yeah. I think Rare Replay just lends itself, really well to kind of doing just that. So that's my prediction.
Excellent.
We'll flash forward like a week, and we're like, none of them are true.
None of that. There's nothing on the new Xbox. xCloud has not been mentioned. Nintendo have just rolled out Luigi's Mansion and a load of other stuff. No Animal Crossing, and everybody's been boring. And we're getting, Call of Duty Modern Warfare. Oh no, we're getting that, aren't we?
That's already come.
We're getting just another revision. We're getting, Battlefront 3 or something like that. So no, I hold faith. In the gaming gods.
It's going to be exciting. I'm going to get treats. I'm going to get goodies. I'm ready for Saturday. I'm ready for Sunday. I'm ready for all the little kind of stuff that's happening on Monday. It's going to be good fun. And then, as we were saying, E3's kind of already kind of trickling off and kicking off, where we had their Stadia announcement today. So just before we podded, Google had about 25 minutes? I think it was about
25 minutes, because I was literally sitting there going, right, if I can't get a run in between this and podding, I've got to go out for a run when we finish. And it is currently 9:15 at night. So it's just like, it went on for half an hour, and I was like, excellent, got what I needed. I'm out of here. So yeah, yes. So it was nice. It was almost like a Nintendo style, wasn't it? A Nintendo Direct, sort of like pre-recorded, just live on YouTube, and just enough to give us what we wanted and, get us there.
Yeah, absolutely. So they announced Stadia. They kind of announced that. They announced quite a lot of things. They announced that Destiny 2, the full experience of Destiny 2, is coming to Stadia. And then they also announced that Stadia is going to be coming out in November. So as we were talking about earlier, so Stadia is coming out in November. You can pre-order what they're calling their Founders Pack right now. So they announced a couple of different SKUs for this. You've got the Founders Pack, which we'll get to in a mo. And then they also announced, I think, 3 different controllers. They announced a wasabi-coloured controller, which is awesome. They announced a wasabi-coloured, a white one, and what was the other one? Was it an orange one or something like that? I can't remember what
it was white, black, and wasabi, I think.
Was it black? Yeah. So they announced those, which there's the controller that we heard about before, which is the controller that you have to enable Wi-Fi on, and that's talking to the server, that's talking to what you're playing on. So that was fantastic. So they announced that it's going to be obviously on every device. But what they also announced was that the Founders Pack is available now to pre-order. And what you get with these Stadia Founders Edition is you get access to 4K games, bandwidth, bandwidth constraints, and we'll get to those in a moment, but you get to that without a console. So you get to that, I'm just trying to find it. You get a Google Chrome. Is it a Chromecast?
It's a Google Chromecast Ultra.
There you go. So you get a Google Chromecast Ultra, and then you get a limited edition, only exclusive to the Founders Edition, which is a midnight blue Stadia controller, which looks quite sexy. And then also within that pack, you get as you were saying, the Chromecast Ultra, but then you also get access to Stadia early. You get a chance to bag your Stadia name. So I can get Chessman early. Please don't take it, anyone. I get Chessman early, but you also get 3 months of Stadia Pro, and you also get a code that you can then give away as a buddy pass as well. So you get that, and all of that is now available for, in the UK, it's £119. I think it's about $138 in the US. So that sounds really cool. And then, so what they're going to be doing is you're going to have Stadia Base. That's coming next year. That's right, isn't it, Stuart? Stadia Base is coming.
I've got that in front of me now. I just found it on the website. So it's Stadia Base coming next year, free. Resolutions up to 1080. Now, it's important to note that even though on the Stadia Pro you'll get resolutions up to 4K, I think they were saying 35 meg download, wasn't it, for 4K? So do obviously check as well. You know, there's no point signing up for Pro if you're not going to be able to get, you know, anything above 1080. 60 frames per second, stereo sound. You know, buy games whenever you want. It's got yes. Access to free games, no. Stadia Pro exclusive discounts on services games purchased, no. So
it's worthwhile noting there that the Stadia Base only gives you stereo. So you only get stereo at the base. You get 5.1 Pro.
Yeah, which I can't understand. Why 5.1 when everybody else is pushing immersive?
They want your $8.99 a month.
I know, but it can't be. There can't be that. The only thing I can think is they're going to have to pay. They'd have to pay a license to Dolby if they're going to call it Dolby Atmos. Where if they don't and use some sort of algorithm, it cannot give that much more on a packet of data to download a multi-channel audio than it can to download 5.1.
I don't think Google worried about data. It's purely you're not paying for it, so we're going to give you. So if you're not paying for it, you're probably playing it on an iPhone or an iPad. You're not worried about 5.1 surround sound. If you're paying for it and getting 4K, that's when you're going to get your 5. I don't think it's anything to do with packets or anything like that. It's a case of you give us your money, you get a premium experience. So I think,
but what I'm saying is that for me, paying $8.99 a month, I don't want 5.1. I want immersive. Because if I'm going to play it at home on my TV and my Chromecast Ultra is in my amp, I want my amp to give me, full immersive surround. So if I've got an Atmos system, it uses my Atmos system. Because although I don't necessarily agree with them being called Atmos soundbars, you're only giving me 5.1, which is a bit of a backwards audio technology. So for me, I don't think it goes far enough.
Jesus, man, give them a break. They're only just announcing this. You're like, right, you're announcing it. I want it in my eyeballs. I want it like Black Mirror. I want Dolby. That was a really good episode of Black Mirror, by the way, that kicked off this season. I want it in my eyeballs. I want Dolby Atmos. This is just the first step. This is just like, PlayStation isn't Dolby Atmos.
I know.
Xbox is. So, that you gotta give it. You gotta give it.
But
Dolby
Dolby
Atmos is not in everyone's living room. 5.1 is where most people are. It's kind of, but I like the idea that you obviously have to pay. So it's $8.99 a month. And so it's taking it up to about £54 a year. Price of a game. You do get, with the Stadia Pro, you do get Destiny, the collection. So you get all of that for free. You get 5.1 surround sound, which is okay unless you're Stu. You get 60 frames a second and up to 4K. Now, the interesting thing that you kind of touched on there is 10 meg if you have a connection of 10 meg or below, so 10 to 5 meg. If you're below 5 meg, don't even worry about Stadia. If you're between 5 and 10 meg, you're getting 720 at 60 frames a second. Now the fact that it's 60 frames a second kind of makes me quite happy, because that's obviously going to make sure that we kind of keep them nice, slick and smooth. From 10 to 20 is your megabits per second is your 1080p spot. So if you're going from 10 meg to 20 meg, that's where you're going to get your 1080p HDR video, 60 frames a second, and 5.1 surround sound. Up to, and then that's going to continue going to kind of around about the 30. So the 30 onwards, at 30, you're going to get your 4K 60 frames 5.1, but you're going to get the best version of 4K if you're 35 and beyond. So if you can get a 35 and beyond, that's when you're going to get the kind of, probably consistent 4K, 60 frames a second, 5.1 surround sound, and all of that. And I'll put a link to the Stadia page to the thing, because it even has a way that you can test your connection. Obviously, you can just go to speedtest.net, which is always a good one just to kind of test it. But I'm quite excited about this. I'm quite excited that this is streaming. And I think one of the things that we were talking just before we started podding is that when we old gadget guys start talking about streaming, we think about all of the baggage that we've been through to get here. We think about OnLive, we think about Gaikai, we think about PlayStation Now, and we just go, it can't work, it's streaming, it can't work. But I think that Google and Microsoft and PlayStation, who are borrowing from Microsoft servers as well, I think they're solving this problem. And I think, I'm seeing those figures. When we first heard about Stadia during GDC, we're like, it can never do 4K, you've got to be joking. But it's doing 4K, 35. I get 65 meg at the moment where I live, and so I'm going to be firmly, quite nicely in that 4K bracket, which is quite nice. It's not everyone, but we're getting better, and infrastructure around the world is getting better. So this just seems, unlike you, I just love the fact that I can just take this anywhere. I could take this on holiday. I could just take my controller and my Google Chromecast Ultra anywhere, and I could just plug it into a TV, and guess what? In the evening I'm playing video games, and it's just quite cool. If I have to go away for work, I've got something I can play. Obviously I have my Switch, but I've got something else that I can play, So I quite like this. I think this is it's really cool. I'm very excited. I've pre-ordered. I pre-ordered straight away, jumped in, and I'm looking forward to kind of just checking Stadia out. If nothing else, I've just pre-ordered just to play around with the tech. And just kind of have a look. And I've got a Chromecast Ultra, which I could give to my dad if I needed to, so. Yeah,
I think you're right. I mean, I looked at it. I mean, they showed off, excluding Destiny, they showed off 5 games. So, Baldur's Gate 3, then they showed Ghost Recon Breakpoint, which had the I can't remember his name now, the Punisher's there's the lead character in that, isn't he?
John Bethanol, yeah.
Because the logo even looks like the Punisher's logo. That looked really good. That really sort of sparked my interest. Then they had, is it Glint, GYLT, which seemed like quite a funky, cartoony type of game where there was a girl walking around with a nightlight, a torch walking around, sort of looked a bit spooky, a bit sort of mystical. So that looked really good. The one that I've written on a piece of paper, number 4, Get Packed, open brackets, Nicola, smiley faced, close brackets, Trouble for Antony, re-overcooked. This was like
nowhere near that.
This looked like a top-down sort of almost overcooky game. Four player sort of but it looked about this is what going back to what we were saying earlier about new IPs. It looked like a 4-player game based around packing a house or moving house.
Wow.
It just looked really funky. There was 4 players lifting the car and having to move the car out of the garage. So it just had Overcooked and Antony being shamed and games being paused written all over it. So that I really looking forward to. Then they showed Division 2, which obviously we all know about. And then I'm now looking on Stadia's page, and looking on here, they've got like Just Dance 2020, Tomb Raider Trilogy. They've got Farming Simulator, Ghost Recon, Assassin's Creed Odyssey, Crew 2, Football Manager 2020, Grid. Power Ranger, Doom Eternal. For me, I say I've jumped in with this as well. You've got to say it's a limited edition controller to me, and I get all excited. But I've jumped in with this as well because for me, I don't see me necessarily playing it at home. And I think we'll get onto a subject in a minute, which is quite interesting for me. But it's like I'm going down to Bournemouth to do the marathon. So I'm staying down there for 2 nights. The night before and the night after, I'm staying down there. I like my Switch, but sometimes I want to be able to play a bigger title. So be able to take my MacBook Pro with me and have my Stadia controller. And and have my 3 4G mobile router that I carry around with me in my hotel room. Bang! I'm sitting there. I'm playing Division 2. I'm sitting there playing Ghost Recon. That's what I want. And whether Stadia or xCloud they give it to me, I'm happy to spend 100. I mean, I bought the Wasabi controller as well because I thought, well, I'll end up having one at home and one in my rucksack. So I thought for me, I'm happy to jump in at 120 quid with have an extra controller and do my 3 months, see what it's like, play the games you get for free, and then after 3 months, I don't like it, give the code to one of the other Sparks so we can get a good review on it between a few of us. And just see what it's like. I feel bad saying it's not a lot of money because it is, but I'm just intrigued. I want to see what this is going to work like. I want to see the difference between here where I get 17 and at the office where I get 100. It just intrigues me. I'm just a bit annoyed. I've got to wait till bloody November to get it.
Yeah, absolutely. I was like I say, it was the one out of all of this entire presentation. I was like, yep, this is good. And it was like November. I was like, damn it, November's just. I mean, maybe this is the only new console. Can we call it a console? But this is the only new console that we're going to get this year because obviously PlayStation 5 and Xbox are kind of. But we could also get xCloud. But xCloud is just going to give us all of the stuff that we have already, it's kind of, but at the same time, I can't wait just to kind of jump in. The fact that, let's just say you can play it on an iPad, you can play it on, I've got one of those kind of bezel-less iPad Pros, with like no home button and everything. So actually just having it on there, which is a 4K HDR screen, just having it on there is going to be quite nice, it'll be quite sexy, just kind of seeing what I've got on there and just having that. And I just think will just be fun. It'll be one of those things where you just kind of go, right, I'm going to go and try this, I'm going to go and try that, and I'm going to see what it's like. I mean, I'd be interested to see that. Obviously, the Chromecast will then just plug into your TV, but then what do I do on my iPad? Do I just have an app on my iPad? And then
open it up in Chrome. Yeah. So you just open a Chrome window and sign into your Stadia account, I would imagine. A bit like you did when they did. Yeah, so I think the Chromecast is for your TV or for the for that HDI input on the front of your Denon amplifier that you just plug it in, or you go around a mate's house, you plug it in. I think what we will see, which will be really interesting, I think we've seen it this year with Apple, with putting iTunes on Samsung's TVs. I think we are very much going to a point where you will start to see. I think you're going to start to see Chromecast or Stadia, because let's face it, Google don't make any money out of Chromecast, actually the little box, the same way as Amazon don't make any money out of that thingy. I can't say her name because she's only sitting the other side of the room and then she'll start talking to me. Begins with A. They're after it for data, but they're also after it in this case for your services to get your subscription. So I think you'll start to see it turning up on your smart TVs as well, as an app on that LG TV or that Sony TV. And I think that's dangerous in respects of, I think that's where Google could take a massive stride. It's like, I've got the Stadia app on my TV and get my Google program. I mean, Sony is Android based anyway, so hey, I buy this £69 controller, all of a sudden my nice new Sony OLED TV is also my shiny games console. And I think that's where they're going for it. I think it's going to be quite interesting.
But similar to that, xCloud could do the same thing as well, couldn't they? There's nothing stopping Microsoft putting an xCloud app on, because if you think about it, the Sony and LG, they're Android. So it's just an Android-based operating system. Kills me that I've got an Android app in my house, but they're just Android app. At least it's not. When I used to have my Sony, it would come up with Android all the time. Now it's just like kind of LG kind of cover that a little bit. But it's just an Android. So you log into your LG TV or your Apple TV or whatever you do, and it's there. So if you haven't got an Xbox, you get xCloud. You sign up to Game Pass. You buy yourself a an Elite controller. You've got a fantastic setup. That's it. You're done. And it's just, I am so excited to see what this time next year, what we're talking about this time next year. I cannot wait to kind of just find out what that is, because it's just the next 12 months from a tech gaming kind of from both of us. It's just so exciting. It's going to be amazing. It's going to be incredible. So let's kind of see. But that's Stadia. Anything else, Stu, that we need to add on to Stadia while we're thinking about it?
Not really. I think, as you say, it's an interesting platform. I think there is some very interesting stuff this year. And I think, as you say, I think gaming as a whole is probably going to get a massive boost in people who are not gamers, who haven't got the console under their TV, they're not interested in buying a PS5 or an Xbox. I think you're going to get more people playing. I think if we go on to our next story, which was off of Kotaku, and actually there's a few stories tonight which sort of do interlink with each other. So Kotaku reported yesterday, I think it is, Jason Schreier, you'll soon be able to transfer your Destiny 2 progress between multiple platforms. Xbox, PC, and streaming service Google Stadia, which on the popular loot shooter will launch in autumn, November now, but PlayStation still remains up in the air. Right now, switching from console to PC for Destiny 2 means starting from scratch. There's no transfer of characters or progress or cross-saving. But this morning, data miners discovered an image on with cross-save on it, getting fans' hopes up that Bungie's online shooter will allow players to move characters across platforms. Will be announced tomorrow, so that's today, in Bungie's live stream at 6 p.m. So did they announce anything? Or
they did indeed. They announced that it's going to be on all platforms.
Oh, so PS4 have stumped up. Cool.
They are working with Sony, and they announced that on the stream that September 17th, cross-save will become available on Destiny 2 on all platforms.
Okay, brilliant.
So September 17th is when that's kicking off, and I think that's when their kind of new DLC, I did have it written down somewhere, but their new DLC, Moonbase or something like that, I think it's called. No, I've got it here somewhere. I've written it down.
Oh yeah, I think I've heard that it was going back to the moon.
Shadowkeep.
Right.
Shadowkeep. And Shadowkeep just... That's pulled me back into Destiny. All of this talk on Stadia and cross saves and all of that malarkey has just kind of pulled me back into Stadia. It's just, and also they also announced during that stream that there's going to be a free to play version of Destiny as well.
Oh, okay, interesting.
So they're just throwing everything at it.
So now this brings me on to a question which I wrote into the show years ago, but never got read out for some reason.
Oh my goodness.
So everybody's talking about cross-saving, cross-progression, which I agree with. Brilliant. I want to be able to, if I'm on Google Stadia, I want to be able to play it on my Xbox, and then when I'm away, fire up my Google Stadia or my xCloud, and then carry on from where I left off. But does that mean that I've got to buy that title on each of those consoles? So if I have a PlayStation and I have an Xbox and I have a PC and I have a Google Stadia, do I have to buy a 60 quid copy for each one? I know the answer to that is going to be yes, but I think it's a bit like that's what annoys me a little bit, and I can understand it from a point of view, from a developer, but we've got so many ways to play our games and it's only growing. So if I've got my Xbox at home because I want my shiny graphics, I want my native 4K and I want my teraflops. But then when I stay in my hotel room, I want to play it on my Google Stadia. I know xCloud might fill this void, but it does bug me a bit that I've got to I don't even mind if they say, well, okay, if you've bought it on Xbox, if you buy it through this store, you redeem this code, you get it at 50% off. Because, I think when I wrote into the pod, I said about FIFA. I like to play FIFA on my Xbox, but I also like to play FIFA on the Switch when I'm on the road, or even a FIFA on a mobile game. And it just bugs me, the fact that I've got to keep on buying that copy.
Exactly. It's almost like you want to buy the license for that game. Yeah. It's like, right, I've bought, especially if you buy it digitally, I've bought that license for that game. So the storefront that I purchased on, Xbox in this case, is the one that gets my money, but next time maybe PlayStation will get my money, but I need to be able to kind of and stuff like that. No, I totally agree. It's like with all of this, obviously, baby steps, but this means that there's a couple of guys at work, they play PlayStation, they are just PlayStation, they like the idea of Sea of Thieves and Forza Horizon, but they've got PlayStations, so xCloud might kind of solve that for them. I'm just going to cough. Hold up. So xCloud might solve that problem for them, but it would be good for me that I would be able to say now, say for instance, like Destiny 2's been available as like PS Plus and things like that. So you bag that title, and now I can play Destiny 2 with them. I can now jump on and play Destiny with them. And take my progression over, so I don't have to have a separate character. I can kind of go, "Ooh, this is my badass character that I've been playing on Xbox for all that time." So this is that future that I've been hoping for. What I would like is that you buy it on Xbox and then you can play with PlayStation players, so I could just invite them in, that kind of is. Or if I do want to jump over to the PlayStation, then as you were saying, take that license with me and say, yep, that's the game that I want. But I think right now, the fact that I can jump into Stadia, so with that Founders Pack that we bought, we get Destiny 2 free, so I can now kind of go, all right, I'm going to play that on Xbox. I go away on holiday. I'm going away on holiday in February, going away for a couple of weeks. I can continue. Destiny drop a big expansion in February. I can just play it in my hotel room, stick it into the TV, off I go, and I don't need to worry about it. And I'm playing and I'm continue playing my character. So there's things like that kind of make me quite excited. But I share your concern. It's like they give us this, but at the same time, that now means that we've got to buy more copies of these games, and
And I think one thing I'm just going to mention with the Founders Edition, anybody listening to this pod, if they're with the Founders Edition, if you pre-order it, you don't have to pay for it until they start to process it. So if you're thinking, oh God, £119 is a bit much, I don't really want to jump in, but I really want to jump in, I looked at the emails that came through. You can go in and cancel it. So do jump in, because they have said it's how many it is, I don't know, but they have said it's a limited edition. It won't be around forever. So what I would advise is, if you're on the fence, pre-order it, because you can always cancel that pre-order as long as you do it in plenty of time before they start processing the payment. And I think going back to the games, the only way they're going to do it is if you buy that game. Like I think it's because you sign into your Destiny account on their server, and that's what carries your save progression across. The only way you'll ever do it, which will never happen, because the consoles, that's where they make the money, is in the games, is that you would buy that game from them, and then it would get divvied up in whatever consoles you play it on. But it's just a can of worms I can't see being solved. A little bit like getting money back for trading in digital purchases. It's there. It's a nice idea, but it's a hornet's nest that I don't think they could solve easily.
No. And like I say, I think for us, it's kind of, there is a small minority where that's a problem, where this is a problem. I think having the fact that if you bought Destiny on your PlayStation or on your PlayStation 4, and then you've also bought Stadia, the fact that you'll be able to flip-flop between those two wherever you are, if you're in another room of the house, so, you can't get to the where your PlayStation is, so you can then just go, fine, I'm going to jump onto my Surface or my Android tablet or whatever, the microwave, you'll be able to then just play Stadia, and then when you go back, when the TV is free, you can then just play on there. So I kind of like that you do that, and I kind of feel that, sometimes obviously we have we stupidly buy everything, so we kind of, becomes a problem for us, but it's not a problem for everyone, it's just like, so, but I love the idea that you've got this kind of cross-save, progression, which is something that we've been kind of waiting for ages, so which is fantastic, and I cannot wait for all of this. So that's Destiny 2 coming out of Stadia. You get it as the Founders Pack. There's going to be cross-save. There's a new DLC coming out in September. It's good. Like I say, I'm interested. I'm going to try and get Nicola to jump back into Destiny, because we did a raid with like Manny, Matt, James, and some guys, and Wee Man and Phil. We all kind of jumped in, and then none of us have touched it since then. It broke us. But I think I think I'm ready. I think I'm ready to kind of jump back in and do some more kind of co-oping in Destiny, because I miss it. I love Destiny. It was great. There's nothing feels better than a Bungie first-person shoot 'em up. So
I mean,
yes.
What else do we need? I mean, we say, as you say, we've got gaming in 4K that can be done in a hotel room. We've got all these DLC drops. Should we just finish the pod here, or is there some really exciting news in your next report, Anthony?
There is some awesome, exciting news, especially for me as a child of, I was going to say child of the 80s, but I'm not. I'm a child of the 70s because I'm that old. But there is some radical news that is coming everybody's way, and that is basically Rocket League yesterday announced their Radical Summer. And Radical Summer had me just going, I was shouting at my phone going, I cannot believe they've done this. So what this means, if we've got a Radical Summer, is it's a celebration of 80s TV and movies. So what's going to happen, I think, kicking off on Monday the 10th of June, we've got everything from Ghostbusters to Knight Rider to Back to the Future to E.T. to Karate Kid to Goonies. All those movies that we love, or we loved as a kid, and that we still love, are all coming. So we've got, basically, this is coming in phases and in waves, and I was just trying to find the article that had all the phases, but we've got the first phase of Radical Summer begins on June the 10th, as I was saying, with the blockbusters. So you can take part in events that will earn you Ghostbuster items, Back to the Future, E.T., Goonies, and Karate Kid. And for a limited time only, there is a 3 versus 3 mode, which is called Ghost Hunt. So in that mode, players have to use proton stream powers. Please tell me there's something, if you cross the stream, it's a bad thing. You get penalized, and you have to basically take the ball back to the containment zone in these urban central areas. So very much kind of Ghostbusters. I'll put a link to this article, I think, on True Achievements. On the 1st of July, they go back to kind of more of the iconic culture of the 80s with Spike Rush, which is a 3v3 mode, and every player has spike power that is activated to carry the ball and deactivated for the players to pull off some wild psych outs. This is theirs, not my words. And then on the 22nd of July, so it really is just spanning our summer, finally on the 22nd of July, it's the time for TV. So you've got Knight Rider, Voltron, Voltron Legendary Defender, and WWE franchise. Somewhere I can hear the Thomas brothers whooping. This is accompanied by a limited edition beach ball mode, which is 2 players, 2v2 mode, where players use a large ball with low gravity, and there's a curveball mutator that makes things even more unpredictable. So all of that is happening throughout, but what that means, for $1.99, just $1.99, you get the Ghostbusters Ecto-1 car pack. And this is going to be embarrassing when we all jump into Rocket League and we're all just in Ecto-1. We're all just there. So you get Ecto-1, you get Proton Pack rocket boosters, which is really cool. On Ecto-1, the doors open at the back, and then you just basically see the kind of it's almost like their Proton Packs are kind of being blasted out the back. We also have, there's a Slimer banner, avatars, there's a Stay Puft goal explosion, and then you will also have Kit from Knight Rider is going to be available as well, and that pack I think is coming out on the 22nd of July, and it's just amazing, and they haven't revealed all what Kit is going to do just yet, and they're going to be revealing kind of more as we go along. But I think just looking at some of these screenshots, Stu, it's amazing. Just incredible.
I'm scrolling through this this page almost look like I'm looking at a fine dining menu. I'm salivating looking at these Ghostbusters wheels on this hot rod, and just the Ecto one. It's just like, I mean, I think you guys touched on it last week that this is 4 years old. This game now, which is about to be 4 years old, and going back to what we said earlier about the just the content. We don't have to change things so often. Let's all that work we've done. Let's give us some crazy content, or just give it to us. So it'll just bring people back in. This will bring me back into Rocket League, and I don't think I've played it for about 7 or 8 months. I don't think so. I think it's brilliant. Such a good idea.
When I saw this, I mean, first of all, I was like, we need to mention this on the pod because A, it's awesome, and B, because the picture of Ecto 1 in midair, I want that to be the pod pick. I want that to be the pod pick for this week. So I was like, okay. I want the Lost Park logo in that corner, and I'm just happy. But also, I also thought that, imagine if this was Forza Horizon. Oh. Imagine if this was Forza Horizon. All of these classic movie, TV, 80s fun that you were now racing around in all these cars. It would be incredible, if this was just like, but, Rocket League got there first, and they have really got there first. And it's just, I love there is a Karate Kid car, and it's just got like a little kind of, it's got like, just like a little headband on it. It's got like Mr. Miyagi's headband, and then there's the Goonies has got a pirate hat, which, what's name was wearing, or Chunk was wearing. It's just so cool. There is just, honestly, as you say, there is just picture upon picture of just fun and cool stuff. And I'm terrible at Rocket League, but this will get me back in and parting with my cash, just so that when I do play it, I get to play around with Ecto 1. I'll finally get to replace either my Gears car or the Batmobile that I had previously with Ecto 1. It's so cool. The DeLorean looks fantastic. I'm pretty sure they had the DeLorean before, but the DeLorean looks fantastic. And these new modes,
I think they did, yeah.
Exactly, and these new modes can just mean that I can kind of maybe play Rocket League without kind of just having fun on those new modes rather than the competitive Rocket League. So, this Rocket League update, just get ready for a radical summer. This is going to be awesome.
It's going to be brilliant. I cannot wait. Unfortunately, I'm going on a holiday that month, so I'll try and jump in. I think I'm away for part of it, so I'll get most of it.
You'll have your xCloud beta that you'll be able
Hopefully.
to use.
Definitely. Yeah. Sorry, darling. I'm not coming to the restaurant tonight. I'm sitting in my air-conditioned hotel room playing my xCloud.
Exactly. Right, the next piece of news, Stews, is with you.
Yeah, I'm going to flip this up a bit because I think I was going to go on to a quirky story, but I'm going to stay with, because we're in the moment with xCloud and everything like that. So
in the moment.
Apple had their conference, their WWDC, on Monday, did we say? Because I missed it. I forgot it was on, only watched it last night. But basically, Apple TV and iOS will support Xbox One and PS4 controllers with the release of the new TV OS and iOS 13. The article, which is from The Verge, basically comes across saying Apple is planning to support Xbox One and PS4 controllers across its range of devices. The controllers will support on Apple TV as part of new tvOS update, finally bringing true controller support to the device. Meanwhile, the iPhone will get support for both controllers as part of iOS 13, which was announced today. As I say, this was Monday. Previous controller support for both iOS and Apple TVs was relegated to select MFI Bluetooth controllers, and if nothing else, playing things like Fortnite on your phone will make control more accessible. I think this one is brilliant because the amount of times I look at my Apple TV and look at those funky games on there and go, I'm not playing that because I don't want to play with some substandard controller or try and play on my phone. But then you got to think, you cast your mind to those pictures of xCloud, with the iPhone attached to an Xbox One, and you just think, going back to our predictions, is this a a precursor for the beta for the xCloud being on the iPhone.
Well, I certainly hope not, because that this doesn't come out until November.
True.
So that would mean that the xCloud's coming out in November. That would make me cry.
Yeah.
It's just like, that would make me sad, because we got to wait until this doesn't come out. It comes out in beta in I think about 4 weeks' time, and then comes out for everyone in the fall.
It would be September when it's done. The new iPhones come out September, October time, don't they?
Yeah,
usually?
Well, it's fall. They announced it on. They just announced it's fall. So what's that? That's like June, July, August. So September, October, November, isn't it?
Yeah, no, true. I mean, I think if you look away from xCloud, I think just being the fact that you can now use an Xbox One X controller, on your Apple TV, I think that'll improve their sales. And obviously, one of the next points they sort of say, this controller supports will arrive just as Apple plans to launch its new Apple Arcade service across all its devices. I mean, that's where the money is for them. And also, they don't have to create a peripheral, or because arguably, those two gaming pads are the best gaming pads out there.
Yeah, absolutely. Apple Arcade. I was just trying to find a release date for Apple Arcade. I don't think we've got one yet, have we? I think it's
no release date, no pricing. I think they're just saying fall as well. So.
Yeah. But they had that scissor wheel that had Oceanhorn 2.
Yeah.
And that is a game that has just improved tenfold. And I thought the same as you. I just thought, God, I don't want to play that with like my phone or something like that. I want to be able to. And the fact that not long after that, they kind of brought someone out, and then they went, and it's going to support the PS4 and Xbox. And I was just like, yes. Hopefully it will support, because they did say, there's certain controllers, but I kind of feel that it's just like supporting all of the latest controllers, including the Elite controller. So it's just like, I just love it. I love the idea that my bag for work is going to probably just it has my iPad in already, but I'll probably just be putting in an Xbox controller in there, that little funky connector, and that's it. That's going to be kind of how I'm playing. I can say the only caveat for me is just train Wi-Fi needs to improve, but it's just so good. It's just so good. So that's coming out. It's coming out to iOS, iPad OS, or whatever, that Pad OS, or whatever they are.
Yeah.
And then,
because I think there was a bit of
tvOS
confusion whether it went on iPad, but it's been confirmed it's on iPad. Sticking with, did you watch the whole of the WWDC? Did you watch the whole 2 hours?
Stuart, how long have you known me?
Well, I know sometimes you like to fast forward, because there was two other things.
Never fast forward.
There's two other things I wanted to discuss there. One was they showed you the clip. Was it All Mankind? Their first drama they're releasing as part of Apple TV Plus, about
by J.J. Abrams.
Yeah, where the Soviet Union landed on the moon first. I thought that looked phenomenal. That was like, yep, sign me up straight away. That just looked like a real sort of like the space race continued after we landed on the moon. It didn't stop. I thought that looked awesome. And then the other question I had for you was, how big does your TV need to be in your movie room? You wanted that new shiny TV, that new little TV in your little gap. What size did you work out was being optimum for it? Was it 40 inches?
No, it was 32 inches. So when I saw the new Apple screen, I went bananas, and then I saw the price, and I just walked away. You should have seen the elation and disappointment when I thought that I would have an Apple TV sitting in that little spot, and then found out it was like $6,000, and I was just like, no.
Oh, that was dollars. That was dollars though. That was dollars. So hopefully it would be more like 4.5 or 5. But the
fact that I could have had a 6K HDR kind of monitor that was just sitting there, and I was just like, oh my God. And I just saw it, and honestly, when they were like going through the kind of Johnny Ives has got ripped as well, by the way. Have you seen him? He's ginormous. So when they were doing the little Johnny Ives, I was just like, yes, this is it. I've waited long enough. This is going to fit in that spot. I was almost there with a tape measure, or using the tape measure app on my iPhone. And then they were like, then the prices came out, and I was just like, there. Nicola she would divorce me. She would kill me. That is just a step too far. It's not for me. It's for people who are editing movies. But I was just, at one point I was like, I'm being treated for waiting so long with a 1080p TV, and I was just like,
it's fine. As I've been looking at some new TVs this week. I've been looking at like the LG C9, which I can get for quite a good price, or I've been looking at the new Panasonic and new Sony's, which are like really high end reference, and I'm looking at it going, I don't need it now. Actually, if I wait a little while, the price will come down. So, just wait a little while. The price might come down a little bit, or you can, buy a MacBook Pro that looks like a Mac Pro that looks like a cheese grater at the front of that. It just looked like I wanted to get a bit of cheddar and slice down the front of it. But no,
but it was just incredible. I got an email today from Sony saying that their new reference Sony OLED is out. Yeah. And that looked quite sexy. I quite like that.
It is very expensive. Yeah, I think they're both $4,000. I think both Panasonics and Sony's are in the fours for a 65-inch. So, but yeah, I've seen the Sony, and it is a stunning TV. So
it looked really good. I was quite impressed at that new reference. I was just like, oh, it looks so good. But yeah, no, I had that elation. I was like, yes, how cool would that be that I'll be playing my Xbox? I was like, show me the HDMI port, It had
a USB-C port. That was the only thing I saw on it. I didn't see an HDMI port, but I'm sure you can do HDMI to USB-C. So, so I can't imagine you wouldn't be able to, because they seem to be pushing because I know this is a gaming podcast, but they announced that you can put a thumb drive in the iPad now, don't you? So so you can actually do like you can on a Windows PC, where you can put a thumb drive in, you can see your files, you can save files to iCloud, a bit like you can with Dropbox. So I think they're starting to go that way. But I know they like to use like my MacBook Pro sitting in front of me here. It's all USB-C ports on it. There's nothing else. So I have an adapter to the side of me, which are my USBs plugged into and things like that. So
and also they announced that on the iPad OS that you can use it as a second screen as well for your iMac, which I thought was quite nice, which I thought was quite cool, especially when I'm editing the pod and stuff like that. So which I thought was quite cool. But yeah, definitely. So it's great that we've got Xbox One and PS4 controller support. Especially Xbox One, because that is just all I want to be able to play Forza on my iPhone or whatever, on my Apple TV. It'd be really funny. You've got like a brand new Xbox sitting there, but when xCloud comes out, all you're going to want to do is test it on everything. I'm going to want to test it on
take it on a dog walk with me.
Exactly. I'm just going to want to test it on my iPhone, on my iPad, on my Apple TV. I'm just going to want to just try it on everything. So it's just going to be good fun. And then finally, Stu, the last piece of news, sir, is with you.
Yeah, it's about IKEA, which is a bit of a weird one. But I just came across this article. I think I was flipping through my news feed the other day, and it's on The Verge. It's IKEA is making custom accessories for gamers. IKEA is partnering with prosthetics company. I'm not going to be able to pronounce this. So UNYA and an esports company, Arena Academy, to create a line of accessories for gamers called Cupola, which means online. The 3D printed line is meant to provide custom-made fittings for gamers, including those with mobility issues. The first products include a wrist-based textured keycaps for a better grip, and a mouse bungee, which keeps the cord out of the way while you play. I sort of looked at this, thought, really, this is a bit weird. Then actually, if you go to the show notes and you actually watch the video, it makes perfect sense. They show you one where if you imagine you're a PC gamer, you've got your hand on your mouse, but the bit around your wrist is sort of flopping where your watch is. So you can put a brace around your wrist. So literally where your forearm sits on the desk and your hand is on the mouse, they're putting a bridge between it so you don't get strained on your wrist. And they're just coming out with a few different ideas. It was on Instagram. They're sort of talking about 2020, but keys that you can take off a keyboard and replace with different textures. So if you can't see the key, or you're playing at night and in the dark, you can feel the different textures of the keys.
That's really cool.
I just thought it was and I know sometimes we like to report on the weird and wonderful stories, and I just thought this was a real... I haven't heard anybody else talk about this on any podcast, And I just thought, actually, this is a bloody good idea.
Yeah, no, I really like it. Because like when I looked at the article, I was like, what is this? But no, it makes sense, you know. It just, and it's funny that IKEA are kind of doing this and kind of come out with it.
Well, I think in fairness to IKEA, I think, you know, they've teamed up with Sonos and looking at they've brought out a cheaper wireless music system. You know, they're taking on Philips Hue with, you know, smart home intelligent lighting, a cheaper version of that. They've got the money to take on, you know, or to bring products out in the, you know, the markets like, you know, the Ring doorbell and things like that. So, and I just think this, rather than copying, this is leading by example, similar like Microsoft have done with the adaptive controller. So, it's a very, 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 very good idea.
That's really cool. They're also doing like wireless charging as well, aren't they? Into some of their desks as well. You can buy an IKEA desk and you get like wireless charging, which is quite cool. You know, before we went to see the movie, we were mooching around John Lewis, and I noticed there was a couple of lamps with like wireless charging pads on the base of the lamp and things like that. So it's just quite nice that you do get people like John Lewis, like IKEA, just kind of breaking into that little kind of, as you say, they're just pushing the envelope, and they're like, we can do that too. We don't have to wait for Philips or whoever to do it. We can actually kind of do that ourselves. So it's quite cool.
Definitely.
Superb. And that is about it for our mammoth E3 special.
Yes, that's 2.5 hours, my friend.
I've got 2.5 hours on the time clock. I've got a bit of editing on the Zoom, but that's about it for this episode. Vic, thank you for listening. Don't forget you can keep up with us at gamerslostspark.com. You can find us on Facebook, on Twitter, we're at Lost Spark Pod. You can also find us on YouTube and the Gamers Lost Spark PS4 community and Xbox One Club. Stu, where can people catch up with you, sir?
You can catch up with me on Xbox and PSN on General Letdown. On Google Stadia as Big Sheep. I'm going to beat him to it.
Don't forget, it's got to be capital B-I-G. Just to really annoy him.
And you can catch on me on Twitter on at Mr. Stuart Burgess.
Superb. For me, I am Chessman on Xbox Live and Nintendo Switch, PS-Chessman on the PlayStation Network, and Chessman UK on Twitter, where I promise not to spam everyone too much about E3. And don't forget, if you have any feedback or would like to send us any questions or kind of comments on what you've seen over the weekend at E3, you can send that to feedback@gamerslostspark.com. That's about it. Let's get ready for E3, Stu!
Yeah, I'm feeling it really excited now. I'm going to go away and write a list of snacks, get my food preparation ready, work out my beers, and let's bring on EA on Saturday night.
And if someone can wake up Steve Carter and tell us what beers to buy for Sunday as well, that would be awesome. Bye!
Bye!